Oh, what the fuck? What in fuck's sake are you doing here, man? Oh, what the fuck? I'm in Jersey. That's why I'm cursing a lot. Welcome to Fat Man Beyond. I'm Kevin Smith.
And I'm Marc Bernard.
Hey!
Oh.
I am, let me see. I was making sure that my Instagram post was up there so folks know that we're going live right now.
Doing it.
Fat Man Beyond. Welcome, kids, to the pop culture show that shows you it knows nothing. No, there's a guy on this show who seems to know quite a bit. And it always works out in the end. I'm the other guy loves everything at all times. Welcome to the show, kids. It's been a minute since we gathered together. But here we're doing it. Marc, as you can see, is about to fight the Highlander. There can be only one.
I'm reporting from the rebellion live on Aldani.
Is that what it is?
Which is in the by the look of it.
I was gonna go for Julie Andrews is about to sing right behind because those hills look alive with the sound of music. As you could tell, I'm at Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash. Behind me are two gigantic Funko Pops of me and Jay that when civilization collapses and they are unearthed 1,000 years from now, finally, I will have reached my goal of having people be like, I guess they were worshipped as gods. And from the depths of hell, I'll be like, we sure were! Spread the word!
When Charlton Heston's ship crashes and he ends up in the underground civilization, instead of worshiping the bomb, they will worship the Bob.
Or the bong, either way.
Either way.
I'll think that all of us on Earth had these giant black eyes. I'll be like, yes, in order to adapt to the rays of the sun. After we destroyed the ozone layer, we grew a thick black mask over all of our eyes.
You made a desert of it.
So cute. I have been in Jersey for a few days. We had our first SModcastle event. I was in California. I did 5 California shows, still on the Clerks 3, the Roman face mask, the convenience tour. That is last week. I was in the California portion of it. So we did San Francisco, Sacramento, San Diego, Los Angeles, and Anaheim. Then I came out here to New Jersey, where I have the apartment over SModcastle Cinemas, my brand new movie theater. And we shot a music video on Saturday. Artist perhaps you've heard of by the name of Logic.
Ooh.
Thank you very much. Bobby came with his crew and we shot a video, which essentially was like shooting Clerks Forks. We went back to Quick Stop and Brian was there, Brian O'Holler and Jeff Anderson, Jason Mewes, and had a blast, man. It was a good ass time. I was so thankful for him. He had this idea where he's like, I want to shoot it at Quick Stop. I was like, you're talking to the right guy. Logically, we can do this. And so we got to hang out with a bunch of people that made Clerks 3 as well. It was a little reunion of sorts. It was a very busy day because also we were shooting, since we've taken over SModcastle Cinemas, I wanted to put up hello and welcome to SModcastle Cinemas, throw your garbage out, one of those videos. So since Jay and I were already in the costumes, we did it as Jay and Silent Bob. So we also shot the in-theater promo in front of Quick Stop. And then Sunday morning, I shot some more stuff inside the movie theater. I rolled out of bed, walked down the stairs, came to the concession stand and in my robe and started shooting. Saturday night, I'm happy to report we did our first SModcastle programming with a live performance of Hollywood Babylon with the great Ralph Garman, who flew out for it. And it was magnificent. It's the first time we'd ever done Babylon in Jersey. A fantastic first run that paves the way for you and I to do Fat Man Beyond out here. So I'm gonna get Ralph going on a bi-monthly schedule, which sounds exactly as fucking sexy as I mean it. So hopefully we can get Fat Man Beyond going on a bi-monthly schedule as well. And you come out and we do the show here at the theater and stuff. Stream it live from the theater. This movie theater has been such a smod send, Mark. It is dialing my clock back. It's just so fun. There's a bunch of kids that work there who are literally kids. You know, I'm always like, the kids, these kids, and all these kids. Hey, kids. You know, that's because I'm like 52 and I feel like I'm the oldest person in the room. There are kids that work at SModcastle, like kids that play field hockey in high school. Is crazy. Wow. Yeah, and it's neat, man. They all run the theater. They don't need any help. I mean, I'm going to help in as much as I'm going to bring more programming, but it's like something out of Little Rascals. Fucking adorable. So, Bamf. Oh, look who it is. Bamf man, everybody. Interrupted my fucking SModcastle memories. What's up?
I just want to add, I think you called me a kid up until like 18 months ago. I was a kid up until Bamf man. And I'm almost 42. So
I still call you a kid behind your back. I'm like, that fucking kid. The one that streams the show, he's smart. Yeah, everyone I call kids. Part of it, I think, is due mostly to Chevy Chase in National Lampoon's Vacation. Hey, kids, are you thirsty? And also, you know, Marty Moose when they get to Wally World, when he's like, hey, kids, we're closed for 2 weeks to clean and repair America's favorite family fun park. Sorry. I guess it says sorry, folks. Not hey, kids. So in any event, yeah, I say hey, kids a lot.
It's also a really great way to not have to remember anybody's name. Because if you establish that you're calling hey, kid, then you never need to remember a name. Just hey, kid. How's it going?
Let me tell you something. Bam. A lot of people in their fucking 50s love it too. They're like, thanks for calling me a kid. What's up? What's up, kid?
So I'll announce, like, pre-Fat Man Beyond at the cantina a lot of times, have grown up saying boys and girls or men and women, but I'm very careful not to do that now. So I'll either refer to everybody in the audience as Scum and Villainy or as kids, because kids is a non-gendered term.
Thank you, JC. My kid, aka Harley Quinn Smith, hit me to this very thing when she went to one of the shows I did. And, you know, she's like, you say ladies and gentlemen. And I was like, of course, that's what they say at the circus. And if this is not a circus, I don't know what the fuck is. And she's like, yeah, but. And I was like, oh my God, you're right. So then I switched over to kids, welcome. Clerks 3 of the convenience store. Yeah, just make life easier. Doesn't make
my go-to is gang. Hey gang, how's it going? Because I also used to say, not even like boys and girls or ladies and gentlemen, I would just default to guys. It's like, hey guys, what's up? And it's like, nah, can't do that. And I eat that. What do I do?
First 10, 15 years of the career was always guys. And then one day it was like, ooh, I guess, you know. And I don't mind changing. I don't want to hurt anybody's fucking feelings and shit. And I don't mind including. It's fucking stupid business to not include everybody, you know, on a purely fucking financial level. It's just dumb to be like, well, I'm going to say what I say and fuck everybody else. But just on a personal level, I was raised by Grace Smith, man, and death before discourtesy. So the idea of like somebody out there feeling like, oh man, I had a fucking Twitter exchange with a dude that was like flat out frightening. I'm going to read it to you real quick, but good Christ. So it started like this. Out of nowhere, I'm not going to give you the name. I watched every Kevin Smith movie, went to live podcasts, special in-person Q&A screenings, bought merch. Then 2016 election broke him, and I heard how much he hated me and people like me and haven't seen anything since. Sucks. I really wanted to see Clerks 3. Now, Mark, you've been with me since before the 2016 election. Did you ever hear me get political?
Rarely. And never in a I hate you sort of way. Just you know, it's getting weird out there.
It's not my thing. I don't fucking trade in politics, so I've never really talked it. And during the 20s, you know, all during Trump's term and shit, people were like, you should be mad. Why are you saying that? Judd Apatow is saying stuff. That's fine. That's great. Judd Apatow is a far more educated man than I am, and I guess he pays attention to politics. But I'm a goddamn entertainer. I'm a clown. I fucking make Kevin Smith movies. I'm not even an entertainer there. I'm an entertainer down here. People don't come to me for like, what's your fucking penetrating thought on politics and world events? They come to me for fucking comfort. They come to get away from that kind of shit. So I made it a point of never talking really about that shit. Now, if you're like, well, I know he's pretty liberal because, I've seen all his movies, great. You could draw your own conjectures about where I stand on the political spectrum. Based on all the movies I've made, yeah, I'd say he's a live and let live kind of guy and a bleeding heart liberal of sorts. But you never see me trying to jam it down your fucking throat, do you? No, just not my thing. So this tweet is baffling to me. So I write, the 2016 election broke me. Show me where. Show me all the times I ever got political on social media. If you don't want to see Clerks, the Clerks movie, no worries, but don't use politics as an excuse because I'm not political at all. You are. Then the cat writes, you were on here, on your podcast too. It breaks my heart that you attack me here too. You used to be a cool dude. It's sad. Honestly hurts me. Mark, did I attack that person in the previous tweet that I just read to you?
No, you didn't.
So this fucker's off the rails by, I don't agree with him on tweet one, but I engage and shit. And I feel like I'm relatively polite for a dude that out of nowhere is just like, let me shit in your mouth. And then the guy says that he feels attacked. What the fuck? So I write, how was my response to your tweet an attack? Between this tweet and your original tweet, I responded to, where's anything you could possibly be hurt by? This is honestly baffling. And again, cite examples of me getting political, links where it didn't happen. So he puts this post. You went from this and it said, good morning. Don't forget to vote today. Doesn't matter who you vote for. Just exercise your constitutional right to vote at all. Because if you don't vote, then you can't bitch about the results, and throwing shade at how people voted is about as American as baseball and apple pie. I guess that was my tweet in 2016. Then he wrote, to this, a video literally comparing Trump to Thanos and Biden to the Adventures. Kevin Smith isn't political on Twitter. Not at all. Sucks, truly. He posted this fucking tweet that I retweeted from somebody. I think it was the fucking Russo brothers, where they put up this video, of the fucking speech at the end of Avengers and shit. And all I wrote was 1 week from today, assemble. Voting is the end game. And I wrote in parentheses, help me give credit to whoever made this. I got it from a follower who also doesn't know. Anybody have any idea where this marvelous piece of editing came from? #vote. That sound remotely political to you, Mark? Does it sound like me telling you to vote for and shit? Even if that video, fucking clearly leans one way more than the other? Do you consider that the 2016 election breaking me and me telling people and people like him, I hate him? Like, this cat is such a fucking clown. So I write, so a video I didn't make, but simply retweeted along with a similar nonpartisan vote message as the sample you retweeted is the only remotely political posting of mine that you could find. And somehow you're still mad. And this is how it ends. Ready? Congrats, man. I went from lamenting the loss of feeling welcomed by a creator I admired and respected. Now I fucking hate you. Holy shit. The kids are not all right, Mark. You're a petulant, ungrateful bully child. Now, I want to take you back to the first tweet, which came from a petulant, unruly bully child who said, out of nowhere, apropos of nothing, asked by nobody, I watched every Kevin Smith movie, went to live podcasts, special in-person Q&A streams, bought merch. The then 2016 election broke him, and I heard how much he hated me and people like me, and I hadn't seen anything since. Sucks. I really wanted to see Clerks 3. I consider that petulant bully childing, especially when it's patently fucking untrue. That's for turning out worse than I hoped. Thanks. I guess he spelled that wrong. Thanks for turning out worse than I hoped. You're a monster. Fuck you. Now, I'm not going to bother rereading the 3 tweets that I read, but Mark, did you hear anything monstrous in those tweets?
Well, It's monstrous in the way that Sully is a monster in Monsters Inc.
Cute and fucking huggable, right?
And a little baffled by it all. Like, what's happening here?
That fucking destroyed me this morning, man. Like, I'm like, you can't win. People just love to make up a story and fucking stick with it. Even when the person they're talking about is like, you know nothing of my work. Dude's just like, why are you attacking me? And it's like, you fucking attacked me. All I did was respond. Like, fuck around and find out. If you don't want none, don't start none. Don't start none, there won't be none. But I didn't even like give back venom. I wasn't even like, let me knock this fucker down a peg. Literally asked questions. Ugh. Baffling. Every day of my life, Mark. Some bizarre exchange like that. For since 1995, I've been on these internets. People are fucking weird. But I will say this, they're getting sillier. Like, in as much as like people will just make up a story. There was a cat like who tweeted the other day. It was like, there was a link to some fucking story where I was like, I would never direct a Marvel or Disney thing. Directing a Marvel or Disney thing is a fool's errand, says Kevin Smith. And this guy was like, 100%, he's pitched his terrible ideas to Disney and Star Wars, and they've said no. And you can fact check that very easily. I wrote 100%, I've never pitched anything to Disney or Star Wars, atrocious or bad or otherwise, whatever the fuck he said. And then somebody was like, you did Howard the Duck once. And I was like, number one, we didn't do Howard the Duck. Number two, I didn't pitch that. Fucking Jeff invited me in and said, do you want this job? Same thing with Masters of the Universe. I didn't pitch that either. That Rob was like, hey, do you want this job? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. So no, I've never fucking pitched. 100%. I've never pitched. Like, it's just so crazy. Like, motherfuckers like think they know the truth and shit. And it's like, I know me 100%. I know me 100%. You don't know me at all. I'm a fucking conjecture to you. I'm a concept. I'm not even a human fucking being anymore. I'm a name on the internet that you can like throw around whatever information you want about and be like, 100% he fucking pitched shit that nobody likes. Like, no, you can literally fucking follow my long tail across the internet since before most of these fuckers were born and find out that I've never wanted to make a fucking Star Wars movie or a Marvel movie or a DC movie and shit. I've always wanted to make Kevin Smith movies. So, ooh, the internet, Mark. Hot take. The internet can be unfair.
Indeed. And it very much seems now more than ever that certain people want to be victims of a thing, and then they decide who's the victimizer, whether it's true or not. And you just happen to be the handy lever for this guy, I'm assuming it's a guy, to find a way to be hurt by the internet, because apparently you broke him during the 2016 election.
He called me a monster based on those 3 tweets that I read aloud. Like, so somebody in chat was like, man, why do you pay attention to the negative people? You got to pay attention to the positive. You're absolutely right. And I do pay attention to the positive people in real life. But I engage with the negative people because if I don't, I'll lose my mind. Because some of them just absolutely baffle me where I'm like, do they believe that? Why do they think that's true? And even if you give them the correct information, even if the information comes from the horse's mouth, they're like, nope, that ain't true. You're like, all right, why am I wasting my fucking time? Anyway, Saturday night we did Babylon. So that means you and I will be doing Fat Man Beyond. When do you think you're going to come to the East? Not in my mouth.
That first question though, that's worth thinking about.
Yeah, exactly. Give us a thought. Get back to me on the next show. I'm a monster. I'm a monster in the sack, Mark. I'm a monster at sucking dick. That guy got it half right.
It's hard to be a monster in one part of your life and then not a monster in all of it. So I'm assuming that you just have a monstrous appetite.
And I'm assuming you got a Celsius can cock. So let me just show you 100%, Mark. Let me show you what 100% really is.
You don't break a tooth.
I might have dislocated my jaw. Hopefully you're smaller than a Celsius.
Hello, Mr. Dentist. Here's what happened. I was sucking my friend's cock, and they think I chipped a tooth.
Me having my jaw wired shut, that's my horror movie. That's me not being able to express myself, to talk, to be like, people were mean to me on the internet. How will I live? You know what's really funny? Whenever I respond to somebody who attacks me, then there's always some clown who's like, why, who's the bigger idiot? The one who wrote the tweet or the one who went out of his way to respond to the tweet? I'm like, well, the biggest idiot is the one who just wrote this fucking tweet. Like, you got no dog in this fight. So if somebody engages me on the internet, like, why am I supposed to just be like, you're right, say your untruthful piece and I will just sit here and take it? Like, no. It's so crazy that people are like, you're not playing by the rules.
With answering me with facts.
Yes. Oh my God. You know, one day, this gaping fucking wound that's within me that cries out for validation from total strangers will be healed, Mark. And when that day comes, I will not be on the internet a single moment longer. Now, I've been trying to heal that wound for 52 years, so I can't imagine it's going to be healed anytime fucking soon. But
just like that.
Good Christ, if only I was a whole, complete person, then I wouldn't need to be on social media. Or if I didn't have shit to sell. If I was fucking Affleck famous, where you just do shit, you know, fucking, and it sells anyway, then I wouldn't have to like sing for my supper and hustle and fucking take shit from strangers on the internet who are like, you're bad at what you do. And I'm like, I'm the only one who does what I do. And they're like, and that's bad. And then when I'm like, hey, I disagree, then they're like, you're not allowed to say anything. You're a fucking character. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah. See, that's, I suppose it's a mercy that you and I have a different relationship with the internet. Because I similarly don't get into it that often with people who have negative things to say about me. But when I do, I am rarely polite about it. And I am rarely particularly engaged.
I've seen your shit on. You're a real bitch. Like, I'm gonna be like, you know, I was called a petulant fucking bully or some such shit. But I'm just kind of dry. I try to go for the Oscar Wilde approach, like very witty, Wilde, very witty. But you're fucking no holds barred. You're like, look at this racist.
I get very Omar.
Yes.
These streets.
Exactly.
You have to pull somebody out into the town square and maybe shoot them in the back of the head to remind everybody that Omar's.
And there are a bunch of tweets being launched at the same time going, Omar coming. but like, you know, asterisk, whistles, what was it? The farmer.
The farmer in the death.
What's up, Banff man? Are you getting in on this fucking us referencing The Wire? Like all the kids love The Wire.
I was just gonna say, Mark's not selling enough "Be humble but let motherfuckers know" t-shirts. If he was paying his rent with those t-shirts, he would be a lot quieter on the internet, like I am.
It's true, exactly. Fucking as a guy who's trying to put asses in seats on Clerks 3, the convenience store, tickets at clerks3.moviekits. We're going to Toronto tomorrow night. That's sold out, but they added a second show. There are tickets left for that. Somebody tweeted me right before the show. They were like, can't sell out a single show. And I texted him a fucking tweeted him a photo of all the sold out shows. It's like, this information is easily checked. Like, if you're going to launch a fucking attack, just check your phone. In any event, yes, it's crazy, crazy.
And I'm pretty sure that if anybody can be accused of being overly political on this show, it's probably me. So I'm sorry for fucking up your vibe, Kev, if the political spill is heading over your direction.
But if that person is talking about you or Ralph, like when Ralph does a Trump impression with his hands and shit, that ain't fucking me. And also, like, not for nothing, like Ralph would have made fun of any president. Like, that's part of fucking comedy. The lowest hanging fruit is like, who's in charge? Make fun of that fucker and stuff. So
punch up.
Yeah, it's not fucking exactly punch up. Ugh. But it's just, I've gone out of my way not to be political. So it always irritates me when somebody's just like, oh, you're so political. I'm like, no, I'm not in the least. Sexually political, perhaps.
Everybody gets a vote here.
Everybody gets a vote. You know what else we did on Saturday night? I had a full day Saturday night. Shot the music video, shot the promo for the theater, did a full ass Babylon to a sold out show, and then fucking screened Tusk for a midnight show, first midnight show. It was fucking awesome. Oh my God, it was awesome. Let me tell you what's coming up, man. I was just texting today, coming up at SModcastle Cinemas. The next event that we're doing is on November 2nd, Curious George, an evening with George R.R. Martin.
Ooh, I like the name.
Thank you. And I asked, I said, what do you want to talk about? He goes, I'm on a book tour. So by the time I get to you, the last thing in the world I'm going to want to talk about is fucking Game of Thrones. So can we talk about comic books? Can we talk about movies? Can we talk about TV? Can we talk about Jersey? Can we talk about writing? I was like, motherfucker, you are speaking my language. He is so awesome. I met him at Neuchâtel as a film festival in Switzerland. And he was the dude, I've told the story here many times. He was like, you know, if you look at Avengers issue 2 or 3, I think it's 3, maybe 4, there's a letter from him in the back complimenting Lee and fucking the staff and shit, saying like, this is strong adult writing and I appreciate where you're taking these characters and stuff. This guy's got fucking rich geek history. He was there when they laid the track of fandom. He also told me, he was like, once that letter was published in Avengers, somebody reached out to him and he was like, hey man, I saw you live in Bayonne. I live fucking nearby. I love this book too. Do you ever want to hang out and talk comics? And he's like, so we met in the real world and we would talk about comics and we would trade comics. And then we met others like that. And then we all decided like, well, let's bring our comics to a place and trade them and sell them. They created the first fucking comic book convention. Like this guy, I know he, you know, fucking created the Red Wedding and all that shit, but like, he's fucking fascinating and so entertaining. So Curious George, kids, an evening with George R.R. Martin, going to happen on November 2nd at SModcastle Cinemas. Next event I know we're going to do is on Black Friday. We're going to show Zach and Miri Make a Porno. I'm going to host a screening of that because we got the Craig Robinson Black Friday joke in that movie. That movie takes place on fucking Thanksgiving. So I'm like, there it is. For Thanksgiving, I'm pretty sure we're putting it together. I think we're going to do a Charlie Brown Thanksgiving. So we're going to serve popcorn, toast, jelly beans, and show a Peanuts movie of my choosing, preferably Snoopy Come Home, the saddest.
Oh my God, dude. Oof.
I mean, that's the day to rip people's hearts out on Thanksgiving. Make you fucking thankful that you're not Snoopy looking for Lila. Spoiler. So that's what's coming up as podcast. I'm loving this. I am fucking loving this. And if you hate me, you should love that I love this. Because let me tell you something. Exhibiting movies is going to take me away from fucking making movies. So, there you go. I could give you an update on the movie business.
Please do.
I don't know what did where, but the highest grossing film in our theater was Smile. And on Friday night, now, mind you, Friday night is like, when I was a kid, you couldn't get a seat in the big theater on a Friday night. And granted, Smile was in its second weekend, but Smile had like 23 people on 7:30 on a fucking Friday or 7 o'clock on a Friday. Amsterdam, which just opened, David O. Russell movie, you know, never more than 5 people in any given show. So as a movie exhibitor, Mark, fuck it! No.
Like I picked the wrong time to get in the movie business.
Holy shit. Thank God I got live podcasts. Holy God. No, it's crazy. There was let me see, was it last night? I mean, granted, it's a Sunday night and shit, but 7 o'clock show of Lyle Crocodile. Nobody was there. I walked in, place fucking empty, sat down, watched 10 minutes of Lyle Crocodile.
And then did you understand why it was empty?
Well, I mean, it's a kids' movie playing at night and shit. Ain't nobody like, let's get fucked up and see Lyle Crocodile.
Although, if I was going to get fucked up, maybe that's the movie for it.
That's the movie. Josh and Liv, you know, I'm on tour with them. They're the tour managers, right? So they're when I'm down, they're down. So they were here in Jersey for the shoot and also to shoot the SModcastle intro and stuff. So, we were talking on the road at one point. We were in Oregon doing shows in Salem, Oregon. And I was talking about Gus Van Sant. And, I was like, oh man, it's like Drugstore Cowboy. And they're like, we've never seen that. I was like, how the fuck do you not see Drugstore Cowboy? I said, so we gotta watch. If you're gonna watch it, I want to watch it with you. And then I was like, wait a second. If we're gonna watch it at all, let's watch it downstairs in my motherfucking movie theater, son. So Josh hooked it up. We watched Drugstore Cowboy last night. It was fucking dope, man. Like, oh my God. I was sitting there in my pajamas, my feet over the seat, fucking eating a bunch of fake meats, Unreal Deli, Jenny Goldfarb's Unreal Deli, drinking fucking all the Celsiuses I brought with me into the fucking theater. Not a free ad, just I like it. It's good. It was fucking bliss. And yeah, I'll admit it, smoking fucking weed. Yes, there, I said it.
How dare you say that out
loud? And it was fantastic. Now, we also watched another thing. Oh, here's Banff Band checking in.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Tusk came out in 2014. We didn't tour it. There was no Tusk tour. It was an A24 release. Have you ever watched that movie with people in a theater outside of the premiere? And if this was the first time, 8 years later, which I can't believe, 8 years later, how was it? Like, did it play different?
I watched Tusk with a couple audiences. The premiere, the Toronto Film Festival screening, which was absolutely fucking magical, standing ovation. And then I saw it at Fantastic Fest in Austin, which was weird because there were a bunch of journalists there that were in lockstep with this one guy who was like the biggest Kevin Smith hater on the planet. I forget his name, but he would go after me like all the fucking time. Devin Faraci, that was his name. He would go after me like constant. Me and what's her name? Lexi Alexander. Like, it was crazy. You go look it up. Devin Faraci, Kevin Smith. Like, he would write these insanely detailed hate pieces. So he was involved with Fantastic Fest. And the year we went, like, the guy who runs the fest, what's his name? The guy who runs
Tim
Lee, who's wonderful. And I've known Tim forever and shit. Like, when we did the Rolling Road show here in New Jersey, they showed Clerks outside in the park here in Red Bank and stuff. I've known him for years and stuff, but that guy, he brought that guy into his organization, and that guy like hated my fucking guts for whatever reason and shit. He got Me Too'd or something like that, if I remember correctly. Somebody came out, said he did some shit, I don't know, but suddenly he disappeared. He used to write for Birth, Death Movies, I think it was called. So that screening of Tusk, I'm sorry I had to go through all that to explain this. That screening of Tusk was incredibly not satisfying because there was a front row of Texas film people, that wrote for Birth, Death Movies and another one, I forget the other one down there, Film School Rejects and stuff. And, people still didn't like me because, like, I got mouthy with critics at one point. And so throughout this whole fucking movie, and this is a weird-ass movie. I'm not saying everybody's got to like it, but it's perfect for Fantastic Fest. There was a bunch of people who enjoyed it, but the front row was a wall of this. So that screening was, memorable for how fucking like stoic the front row was, unnecessarily so. So to answer your question, JC, it's been a long time since I've seen Tusk in a theater. And we had, like, believe it or not, at midnight on Saturday night, we had 145 paid customers. So that's, fucking pretty legit. Honestly, that was more than Amsterdam had all weekend. So at the Atlantic Highlands, you know what I'm going to start doing? Keeping track of the box office at my movie theater and shit. Because, like the top 5 on Mondays and shit, because we would have been the highest grossing film of the weekend. Tusk, #1 at the Atlantic Highlands at SModcastle Cinemas. So that was a great screening. So much so that, like, I'm like, oh, I can't wait to show Yo Gozers. But first, I think the next one's going to be Zach and Miri Make a Porno because of the Thanksgiving theme. So, oh my God, it's fun, man. And Marc's going to come out and do Streets of Fire.
Hell yeah. I'm putting together a whole list. A week, the Ides of Mark. It's a week in March.
I love that. Oh, in March? That's when you're thinking about?
Yeah, that's when the Ides of March are. They're the middle week of March.
This thing writes itself. Fucking love that. Honestly, I love programming this theater so much. It's fucking sick. If you hate me and you're like, I hate Kevin Smith, then figure out a way to ruin this for me because I love it so much. Like it's so, this is the life I would have led if I could have, if I wasn't a filmmaker. But let's be honest, if I wasn't a filmmaker, I would have never been able to buy a fucking movie theater with my friends. I would have needed a lot more fucking friends. And it's just fucking bliss, man. What a thing to happen at age 52. Jason Mewes was there this weekend, of course, and he came up to the apartment and the movie theater, and his big suggestion was a fireman's pole from my apartment to the theater. I was like, but then there's a big hole that everyone can look up into my fucking theater, in my house. And he's like, well, you can put a cover over it. And I was like, then it'll take me less time to just walk down the stairs. He's like, well, the elevator takes a walk, so I got an elevator. And I was like, well, you don't have to use the elevator. You can literally walk down the stairs and go through the concession stand. He's like, but a fucking fireman's pole. And I'm like, dude, this ain't Ghostbusters.
See, I just look forward to like 5 years from now, 6 years from now, when you just get so homey in there that you will just walk out of your apartment through the concession stand in the middle of like Friday Night Rush when fucking like Ant-Man Quantumania is playing or whatever the fuck, and you're just like, oh, there's Kevin Smith in his robe and his whoopee slippers, going into the movie theater like the ghost of the SModcastle Cinemas.
Bet on
Amazing.
it. Bet on it, because one of our, we're gonna do a bunch of programming. One of our programs is the Merry Marvel Movie Society, where you fucking join up and you see first run Marvel movies with the fucking biggest Marvel fan in the SModcastle Cinemas himself, Marc. I love Marvel so much I've pitched atrocious, terrible things so many times.
And they've said no every one of those times.
100%, Marc, 100%. Yeah, man, I'm telling you, the SModcastle Cinemas is fucking dope. So I can't wait. Ides of Mark. Fuck, that's good. I'm doing a film festival for Josh Roush called Roushamon, the film for Josh Roush. I came up with full. You want to hear the other programs I'm going to do?
Yeah, let me tell you.
All right, hold on. God damn it, where did I put my list? Well, let's talk about something else for the time being.
Bam.
Yeah, I was busy writing down my list for the Ides of Mark.
I'll throw out what we're gonna do at Scum and Villainy, and maybe you can.
Ooh, please do.
Maybe you can piggyback.
Yeah.
Rocky Horror Picture Show is a huge thing, but that's not.
We're gonna be doing it. We're gonna do it.
We're not really a Rocky Horror. I mean, I guess we are, but I've never done that. That's not my thing. So we're going to do a once in a while screening called Anybody Want a Peanut? And it's going to be the Princess Bride done like Rocky Horror. And so you'll come in and you'll sign up to play a character, and we'll show the movie with the subtitles on. And at different points throughout the audience will say the lines of dialogue along with the movie. And then, anytime Fezzik rhymes, we'll give people little bags of peanuts to throw and make it fully interactive. So we're going to do that with Princess Bride.
That is brilliant. Perfect it. Bring it to SModcastle.
Okay.
You're the farm team.
We could do Scum and Villainy Cantina presents Does Anybody Want a Peanut? That would play fucking huge, man. That Merry Marvel Movie Society will include the TV shows, kids. So if you're in the area and you join, then we'll watch the TV shows as well. Now, you're like, you can't charge for that. I won't. You'll pay for popcorn, though. I'll tell you that much.
Yes.
Because that's what the movie biz is. When you're a movie exhibitor, the sweetest plum is not the box office cut. That's tiny. That's like just the tip and shit. The only way you pay the bills is by selling fucking candy and shit. So
you should make whatever, commemorative popcorn buckets in the shape of the Kevin Smith head behind you, so that you can sit there and $20 for just take home that fucking big ass Kevin Smith head, and people can come back, fill it up with popcorn, go home. So then you can hit them hard for the movies you can't charge them for.
I love the way you think. We're in the process of doing popcorn buckets a little cheaper than fucking plastic heads and shit. We'll get there one day, though, I promise you. But right now, we're going to do customized cups and popcorn buckets and shit, so that if you come and get them, it's worth keeping, take home and shit, like collect them all and whatnot. And also gives us a chance to showcase artists like fucking the Dark Knight Returns, fucking, you know, the wait till you see his marquee in the lobby. I'm sorry, we're just killing time fucking talking about this, but obviously you can tell I'm excited. Let me just read the fucking programs we're going to do and then we'll move on. This is what I come up with so far. Brat Pack Attack, the films of John Hughes. Directly responsible, face to face with filmmakers at SModcastle. That's going to be the Russo brothers. They're coming in. It's March or April when they're done shooting their movie. They were going to come in December, but then Joe was like, can we wait till we're done with the movie? I was absolutely. Zack Snyder is coming in the new year, and he's like, I've never shown Justice League in a theater once. I was like, brother, bring it. So he'll be part of that series, Jason Reitman and stuff. So that's the series where the famous directors come, directly responsible, face to face with filmmakers at SModcastle. Then, how about this motherfucker? Sure Shot, movies made in Jersey.
Ooh.
On the Waterfront is one of those fucking pictures. The movies that made me with Kevin Smith. So that means I show you all the movies that I love that made me me. And mind you, these are all like series that we run throughout the year, like monthly, weekly, whatever the fuck. Rock Out with your Doc Out, the movies of Malcolm Ingram. So we do all Malcolm's movies, a week of Malcolm's movies. The Ides of Mark, a week with Marc Bernardin, and I spelled it W-E-A-K.
Makes sense.
SModcastle Sunday Morning Mass and Pancake Breakfast. That's where we show Dogma every month. Clerks open all night. That's the all-night Clerks marathon from midnight until 6 a.m, concluding with a quick stop breakfast. And Two's Askew, man. Tuesdays, every Tuesday night. Enter the Askewniverse. We just roll the, Clerks through Clerks 3 consecutively and then start all over and stuff. How fun's that fucking sound?
That's pretty dope.
You know what I'm saying? That'll dial a motherfucker's clock back and shit like that. If I ever have a heart attack again, it's going to be because I'm having too much fun at SModcastle, and that's a good way. So in any event, and nobody tuned in to hear about that, but that's what's going on, kids. That's what's going on in my world. Now I'm going back out on the road. I got Toronto, Clerks 3, the convenience tour, resumes tomorrow. Toronto, Ottawa. First Toronto sold out. Second Toronto was the rollover show. We added it after the first show sold out. So that's like not sold out, but half sold, over half sold at this point. The next night is Ottawa. That sold out. The night after that, Grand Rapids, Michigan, sold out. Then we go to Detroit, the Fillmore, where we've done Fat Man Beyond.
Indeed.
Not sold out, but 1,400 people fucking strong. So no complaints there. Then we go to Montreal, Quebec, which is not nearly sold out. So if you're in Montreal, kids, if you're in Quebec, Clerks3.movie. And then I come back to Jersey because I go do the Good Morning America, like on one of those days. And then I go back to Atlanta, Orlando, Tampa, Nashville. The tour rolls on, the convenience store. We are at show 22 of 51. So
halfway.
Not even. Still a ways to go. And it's going to be sad when it's all over because every night it's just love and bliss and shit. So come on out, kids. Clerks3.movie. That's enough about me selling my shit. We probably have to sell other shit to stay on the air. Am I correct, Mark?
We do indeed, my friend. This episode of Fat Man Beyond is brought to you by the good folks at Native Deodorant.
That's right, kids. Native makes it so you don't stink. I had to get some products for this apartment here. Not here, I'm pointing like I'm there, but in Atlantic Highlands over the movie theater. That's where I live. So I had nothing there. I didn't bring anything. So I had to go out and get some products. I went to CVS. What do you think I got?
You got yourself some body wash.
I got body wash. I got fucking deodorant and shit. I went native, Mark. I don't know how else to say it, man. And they were like, look at you. You got class, you got style. I was like, that's right, because I'm going native. Native kids, smell and feel fresh all day long with Native. Get 20% off your first order by going to nativedeo.com/fatman or use the promo code FATMAN, all one word, at checkout. That's nativedeo.com/fatman or use the promo code FATMAN at checkout for 20% off your first order. Native is an amazing product, kids. Aluminum-free deodorant. Keeps their ingredients list bare naked with ingredients you understand, like coconut oil, shea butter, and baking soda. They check a lot of boxes, 72-hour odor protection, naturally derived ingredients, and a smooth, residue-free application. Native also offers a variety of scents, my favorite being candy cane, with the holidays coming up. Smell like a fucking candy cane. With new limited edition scents being released on the time. And if you got any sense whatsoever, you'll get your hands on some fucking Native. Take us home, Mark.
And when you use Native, you'll smell amazing all day long, thanks to their long-lasting scents. Spicy and woodsy, clean and fresh. They got a scent option for everyone, including like warm cider and cinnamon, cashmere and rain, toasted marshmallow and vanilla, wildwood and cardamom. Ooh, that sounds delicious. So now's the time to make the switch from antiperspirant to Native. When you visit their site, you can discover all their fresh scents. Maybe you would try out one of their body washes while you're at it. I like the sugar cookie because I smell like a sugar cookie.
Somebody on Twitter just rocked my world. Eric Reynolds says, Kevin, the hat flipped under the chin is perfect Tusk merchandise. Let's see.
Maybe.
You know, it's got a point. It's not wrong.
Mm.
Maybe what I need to do is you get like a brown cap and then you attach the tusks like thusly. So they
there
come.
you go. They go down, not up.
Yeah. You know what? I like the way you fucking think, kid.
Good job, Eric Reynolds.
Yeah, way to be, Eric Reynolds.
So yeah, smell and feel fresh all day long with Native. Get 20% off your first order by going to nativedeo.com/fatman or use promo code fatman at checkout. That's nativedeo.com/fatman or use promo code fatman at checkout for 20% off your first order. We thank the good folks at Native DEO.
We do. We love the Native folks because they seem to like us. And we like anyone that likes us.
Hell yeah.
There it is, kids. Go to nativedeo.com/fatman and show them some fucking love. Smell pretty with nativedeo.com. All right. Let me tell you something about Mr. Marc Bernard, man. Not only is a fine fucking writer, but years ago, before you knew him and shit, when you were coming your daddy's nutsack, Mr. Marc Bernard was covering the fucking news. And that never dies, kids. Never dies. So before we get into reviews, let's get to the news with Mr. Marc Bernard. No news is good news, says Gary.
Good news. So hey, you know Alan Moore, right? Comic book writer extraordinaire, Alan Moore.
I'm familiar with the man's genius work, but I've never met him, of course. I'm sure he wouldn't really, you know what? I don't know, but I doubt he'd care for me or my work and stuff. But he seems like a nice guy.
You know, as far as Eldritch Wizards go, I think he seems very, very positively cuddly.
I kind of do a little bit of what I do because he did what he did. I loved his writing so much. I was like, ooh, I want to write comic books. And I'll never write them as good as Alan Moore, but nobody said you had to.
That's very true. In an interview with The Guardian, he revealed some of his thoughts about the future vis-a-vis comic book entertainment. He is quoted by saying, I said around 2011 that I thought it had serious and worrying implications for the future if millions of adults were queuing up to see Batman movies. because that kind of infantilization, that urge towards simpler times, simpler realities, can very often be a precursor to fascism. He continued, hundreds of thousands of adults are lining up to see characters and situations that have been created to entertain the 12-year-old boys, and it was always boys, of 50 years ago. I didn't really think that superheroes were adult fare. I think this was a misunderstanding born of what happened in the 80s, to which I must put my hand up to a considerable share of the blame. It was not intentional when things like Watchmen were first appearing. There were an awful lot of headlines saying comics have grown up. I tend to think that, no, comics hadn't grown up. There were a few titles that were more adult than people were used to, but the majority of comics titles were pretty much the same as they'd ever been. It wasn't comics growing up. I think it was more the comics meeting the emotional age of the audience coming the other way. And he talks about, the V for Vendetta mask that David Lloyd had drawn, how it become adopted by anti-state protests around the world. He says, I can't endorse everything that people who take that mask as an icon might do in the future, of course. But I'm heartened to see that it's been adopted by protest movements so widely around the world, because we do need protest movements now, probably more than we've ever done before. So Alan Moore has feelings about comics and how they seem, at least to him, to be on ramps towards something resembling fascism.
Oof.
Yes. And in his mind, the Donald Trump election in 2016 coincided with superhero movies moving to the top of the worldwide box office, and that want for a simpler time.
Listen, man, anything Alan Moore says, that's not like hate speech, and the guy don't do that. I fucking give him all the room he wants. This guy wrote fucking Watchmen, for heaven's sakes. So yeah. This is somebody who laid the track of what the culture became. And if he sees something troubling, I ain't gonna argue. That all being said, I like all that shit. I don't know what it says about me. And I don't feel like a fascist. I don't think he said I was one. I'm not taking offense or anything, but that's interesting.
Yeah, I tend to feel the same way that I feel when people say that video games lead people down the road of violence, that rock and roll or rap music lead people down the road of anything. The idea that media can prompt a person to do a thing, which is something that I don't really hold faith in. I do think that people who were predisposed to a certain direction can find harmony in occasionally the kind of content they do take on board. It can be a bit of an echo chamber, and the more things you put in that echo chamber that sound the way you want them to sound, the easier it is for you to believe that. But if that was the case, there would be a lot more fascists, and there are more than there should be, but still, there would be a lot more, random gun violence. There's more than there should be, but still, based on the amount of people that buy video games like, Call of Duty or Modern Warfare or Halo or Destiny or any of that sort of thing. So it's like, I don't think correlation and causality are the same thing.
In chat, Stanley says this show is making people infants. Thank you, Stanley.
That's what we try for.
Evan Fowler says, to be fair, Alan Moore, this is a guy who has watched people celebrate Rorschach and Adrian Veidt, rather, and completely missed the point of his work. So he's a little sensitive. I mean, they're right about that for sure, man. Like some people love Rorschach, and it was like, he ain't meant to be the good guy. Like, yeah. He ain't a bad guy, but like, kind of point was there were no heroes amongst the heroes. And then this one made me chuckle. One last comment from Mean Dave. Sometimes the simplest jokes are the best, Mark. He writes, Alan Moore wants Alan less.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Not
Respect.
bad.
That's game recognizing game, man.
5 words deep.
Oh, Banff Man's here. What you got?
I'll say this. I read a thing not too long ago about how people feel about Darth Vader now, and how he's this beloved character. It was around when Obi-Wan came out, and I read a whole thing about how Dave Filoni eviscerated that, meaning like Darth Vader's not the guy. He's not the hero. He's not the one you want to aspire to be, the way that people have made him iconic. So I think, kind of to piggyback on what Mark said, I think, Star Wars was created, and Darth Vader is, good guys wear white, bad guys wear black. Darth Vader's the baddest of the bad guys. I think people can see in media, any media, whatever it is they want to see. I don't know if necessarily, there is a direct correlation.
All ups in chat just said Darth Vader is literally a school shooter. Never really thought about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's Darth Vader's the weird one, the weird somewhat outlier, because it is the story of redemption. It is ultimately the story of, can Anakin Skywalker be redeemed from his evil actions? And so if you take all 6 movies in total, then yeah, here's a good kid who kind of goes bad because of any number of reasons, none of which seemed to be internal, but many of which seemed to be somewhat external. He was an angry kid, but all of the hammer and the tongs of the world had sort of welded and forged him into who Darth Vader is. But the story ends when he kills the Emperor. The story ends when he saves his son. The story ends when he sacrifices himself. And because the entire story is, I still think there's good within him, and I'm not going to give up on it yet. And so, yeah, he's got to be bad, and he's 100% full bad. He goes full Dark No Stars all the time. But it's not about that. And so it's, we see in our media the things we want to see in our media, occasionally, despite the fact that the creator's intentions were different. And for example, see all the people who thought that Homelander was the good guy, and then discovered, oh wait, why did you make him the bad? No, he was always the bad guy. It was always about that. It was always about fascism. It was always about borderline Nazism. It was always about power corrupting, and the guy with the most power is the most corrupted. If you didn't see that, it's not the work's fault; it's your fault.
I mean, and for the record, I always liked Darth Vader. I was 7 years old when I saw Star Wars. I liked Darth Vader my whole life, even before they were like, here's this fucking meet cute backstory where he's bitching about sand and shit. And it never once made me want to do anything remotely antisocial. I can enjoy a movie without wanting to act it out or reenact it out. I mean, in fact, I saw movies and I did want, how they're like, people will see movies and they'll want to fucking replicate the behavior. They're absolutely right, Mark. I saw movies and I wanted to make movies. Never once was I like, I want to blow up the Death Star. I want to fucking fight in a roadhouse. What a weird pull.
I thought you'd be bigger.
Yeah. Or I never wanted to hang out with a Robin Hood fox. These are all fictional stories.
Indeed.
Bamf. You didn't
Bamf.
You didn't want to hang out with the Robin Hood fox?
I did. I was trying to win the argument. But yes, you caught me. You're supposed to be on my side. Don't fucking shade me like that in front of the audience. Of course I wanted to know the Robin Hood fox. That's the kindest Robin Hood in the movies.
My Disney Plus avatar is the Robin Hood fox, because that's
who don't love that fuck. Who voiced that guy?
I don't know, but you know who loves that guy? Ladies love that guy. The internet is deep and thick with sexy Fox Robin Hood shit.
Yeah, because he fucks, man. You could tell.
Oh, that Fox fucks.
Yes, that's a motherfucker who will eat your pussy for hours before he ever shows you his lipstick.
Hooda lolly.
Robin Hood and Little John walking through the forest. Ooda lolly, golly, what a day.
It's the voice is Brian Bedford, a British actor.
Brian Bedford, who played the fucking, Hawk guy and fucking Flash Gordon.
That's Brian Blessed. Brian
Oh,
Blessed
thank
is
God.
the dog man.
He was
Yes.
Wow.
1990
The show no other new tricks.
I guess he
That's got to
played
be in the Ides of Mark.
Clyde
Ides of Mark.
Tolson and Nixon.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I don't. It does not look. I mean, it looks like he had a good kind of theater stage career, but not a lot of crazy, other voice roles. So, if you want more sexy Fox voice, don't go looking for it anywhere but Disney Robin Hood.
Yeah.
You ain't kidding.
At this point, maybe just find somebody who's good at that algorithm shit and just pump in all of the voices, all of his voice work from Disney's Robin Hood, and then make him say dirty shit.
I'm give me that Disney Channel show. Disney, do Disney Plus After Dark, and when your host is the Robin Hood Fox, and he just talks smack and shit. He's like, of course I'd eat your pussy for hours. I'm Robin Hood. I lift the clitoral hood. That's why they call me Hood.
Tally ho. Oh.
I bet you when you tuned into the show tonight, kids, you didn't think anyone was going to say clitoral hood. Well, there you go.
My favorite Batman character.
To 90% of the audience don't even know what that is. Please look it up and do your best to find it, kids.
All right.
Wow, apparently Brian has the, according to DJ Kento, wow, this dude apparently has the second most Tony nominations of all time.
Oh shit.
Crazy
That's
like
impressive.
a fox. Crazy like a fucking fox. All right. What else?
Cool. Loki and the Multiverse of Madness writer is tackling Secret Wars. Michael Waldron is in line for another high-profile Marvel property, as sources have said that he is set to write Avengers: Secret Wars for Marvel Studios.
So he's writing a script for the Russo brothers, because there's no way the Russo brothers don't make that movie. No way.
No way they let another person just slide on in.
They've said many times, they're like, we'd come back for Secret Wars.
And
Secret
that's
Wars
all.
is happening. Draw your own conclusions, kids.
Fair enough. Kevin Smith said it here. Comicbook.com.
Write some articles about that. That's conjecture, pure conjecture. I don't know shit, but if I was a betting man, that's what I bet. If I was a betting man, if I went to the horse track and wanted to bet on a horse named Clitoral Hood,
Oh,
that horse would run.
all day long.
I got the horse right here. His name is Paul Revere. And there's a guy that says if the weather's clear, can do. This guy says the horse can do. If he says the horse can do.
First time I ever heard that song was in the Richard Dreyfuss movie Let It Ride.
Oh my
which
God.
I love that movie, and I don't even know why, other than it's so fucking charming.
It's a great movie. And when I first started working at RST Video, the video store depicted in Clerks, as well as Clerks 3, still in theaters, playing at the SModcastle Cinemas, available on home video this week. I believe it starts streaming on the 15th or something like that.
Ooh.
Wait, what were we talking about? There's so much fucking intro, I forgot.
Let It Ride.
When I worked at RST Video, first week, we got 3 copies of Let It Ride in. Now, you've seen the size of this place. We would get 3 copies of shit like Young Guns or Young Guns 2. That would make sense. 3 copies of Let It Ride. We did not make our money back. The ROI on 3 copies, each one was rented like 15 times and stuff. 1 copy would have put us in profit.
Yep.
But I was always baffled by that. I was like, who the fuck orders 3 Let It Rides? And it was Rajiv Topper, Mr. Topper's kid. I still rib him about it all the time. I'm like, 3 Let It Rides? What were you fucking sucking Richard Dreyfuss's dick?
He really liked Jennifer Tilly. He really liked Jennifer
no.
Tilly.
Rajiv said he was not sucking Richard Dreyfuss's dick. So it wasn't that, Mark.
No, he didn't have a close encounter of the Dreyfuss kind.
Oh, shut the fucking show down, kid. Shut the entire internet down for the night. Because the best joke anyone's gonna make for the next 24 hours was just made by that fucking guy right there. Ooh, that was good. Fuck, that was sweet, man. That came right out your jaws. Wow.
Just like that. If I was on the mic, I'd call him Dick Dreyfus.
That's true. Dickie Dreyfus.
Dickie D.
Dickie D, man. Fucking goddamn. That was good. I'm gonna analyze that for the next few hours.
It's all yours, my friend. So yes, Michael Waldron is writing. No director has been named for Secret Wars, unlike the Kang Dynasty, which Destin Daniel Cretton is directing, and Jeff Loveness is writing that. But this is all good. It's all fucking good news, man. And Waldron he's also currently developing and writing Kevin Feige's secret Star Wars film for Lucasfilm.
Ooh, I'm sure I'll want to see that as well.
Indeed. And
all right, moving on, what else happens?
While we're talking about writers, Todd McFarlane's Spawn film is thick as a dick with new scribes. He's making the movie with Blumhouse, and they've added 3 new writers to their team. Scott Silver, who wrote The Joker, Falcon Winter Soldier, and friend of the podcast, Malcolm Spellman, and a rising writer named Matt Mixon are all teaming for a new script on the feature, which has been in development at Blumhouse since 2017. And Jamie Foxx is still attached to star as the anti-hero named Spawn.
I'm ready for it. I hope it happens for Todd. He's been working on this for a long, long time.
He has indeed. He had been eyeing directing the film. Yeah. And he wrote a previous draft of it. But he acknowledges that he might not be the person to direct, given that now they have some of the highest profile writers in the comic book movie space. His quote is, if you've got an A-list actor, A-list producers, A-list writers, then you want A-list directors and A-list cinematographers. Of course you do. So let's keep the momentum going, he says.
Done and done. Well, Todd, come to SModcastle and fucking screen it.
When the time is right.
Todd, you should come to he don't watch this show. He could come to SModcastle and fucking screen the old Spawn as well.
Ooh, he can screen the HBO show, which I love the HBO show.
That's right, the cartoon, the animated series.
That was dope.
Remember he would intro every episode? He's like, Spawn! The creature of darkness, eh? That's fucking huge, dude. Like that's HBO doing animation like years back and shit.
Yeah, this was in the 90s, I think.
Spawn! Just when you think you're safe in the darkness. Spawn, eh? Let's check it out. He was like Bill Cosby in Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids.
But unlike Bill Cosby in every other way.
Yes, the only way in which he was like that.
Christian Bale wants to be in Star Wars in one very specific capacity. He told the Hollywood Reporter recently that he could be persuaded to join the Star Wars franchise, but only to continue the work of the famous but unidentified stormtrooper who banged his head on the doorframe in the background of A New Hope. All I ever wanted in Star Wars was to be in a Star Wars outfit and hit my head on a door or something as I walked through. The real nerds who watch Star Wars way too many times always knew that one scene where the stormtrooper hurts his head as he comes through. I wanted to be that guy. That was it. But look, if I'm fortunate enough to be more than that, oh man, yeah, what a delight that would be. I still got the figures from when I was little. Suddenly I decided that he's from like Hoboken. I got the figures from when I was little. I also know Kathy Kennedy very well because he was working with Spielberg when I did Empire of the Sun, and now she runs a Star Wars show.
Mark.
Yeah.
You know, I'd rather light a candle than curse your darkness. I try never to be critical.
Yes.
That being said, worst Christian Bale ever.
But it was Christian Bale. He's from Hoboken. You didn't get that part.
Then, best version of Christian Bale ever. That's one of those articles where you're like, oh my God, who's he going to play? And then you're like, oh, it's a joke article.
Right. And he'll be a cameo that you'll never see.
God bless him. He's a good dude. Seems like a good dude. He certainly goes around the hospitals a lot. There's a one time he yelled on the set of Terminator, but seems to have atoned for it since then.
Indeed.
Clearly, and one of our better Batmen,
One of our better Batmen. It's amazing that that's a thing you can say out loud and have it be true. We've had so many Batmen that you could be one of our better Batmen.
Hell yeah. The Better Batman Business Bureau. He's part of it.
He's part of it. All 4 Bs.
I'm hoping that he was going to be like, I'd play Admiral Thrawn and be like, holy shit. Like, that's clearly a sign it's going to happen, but it ain't that. Because you can paint that fucker blue, right?
He painted him white in fucking as Gore the God Butcher.
Which, by the way, I rewatched Thor Love and Thunder. Realized I'd slept through a lot of it. Seems to be the
as loud as that movie is. You slept through it.
I did. I napped through portions of it because when I was watching on Disney Plus, I was like, "This happened." But Christian Bale is really fucking good when he goes creepy, scary in that movie. When he's like, "Oh, governor," when he goes like real cockney and shit. Really scary, unnerving and shit. Worth watching again, kids. Thor, Love and Thunder.
Indeed. You might have heard of it.
Yeah, and it needs help. It's an independent film that nobody's ever heard of.
Indeed. Sony is, for reasons that, well, I'm not going to say they escape me because I understand 100% what they are, but I still don't get it, are taking another swing at Tarzan. They acquired the film rights to Tarzan in a deal with the estate of original book author Edgar Rice Burroughs. Plans are the earliest stages, with no writer, director, or producer attached, to what would be a full reinvention of the popular character first introduced by Burroughs in 1912.
Great.
Sure.
Look, any character in the right hands is going to be, could be done well, but I've never been a Tarzan guy, even when I was a kid. Tarzan was, and I have nothing but respect for the Edgar Rice Burroughs canon, if you will. But I like my superheroes, with masks and capes and stuff. Have a whole universe. I know he's got like Jane and shit, but I ain't shitting on it. Good for them, but that doesn't excite me in the least. And then hearing that they're like, we're going to reinvent it makes me even less excited. They just did a pretty good one recently with what's his name? Skarsgård.
Alexander Skarsgård. Yeah, in 2016.
But this it's just, this seems like people think he's got the longevity of a Batman. And I ain't saying like it's over, give it up. I mean, everybody have at it, do what you want. But I lost interest in Tarzan a long time ago.
Yeah, I mean the reason to do it is because people recognize the name Tarzan, and that's probably about it. But there are some characters, some ideas that we can all just kind of as a society decide like, we're good. We don't really need another rich white dude who goes to the jungle and learns jungle shit and then decides to come back out, but he's too junglified to sink back into the modern world. Sure, whatever.
Mad Bros Media goes, what about Greystoke, Kev? I loved Greystoke, but that movie's fucking 30 years old by now?
Yeah. I think that was like 80s.
Not more. Greystoke, The Legend of Tarzan. It's a fantastic movie, but
with Christophe Lambert.
Yeah, and Andy McDowell, but she was voiced by Glenn Close. Anyway, you're getting more Tarzan, kids. You know what I have to say to that, Mark? Thank you.
Yeah,
felt like Carol Burnett there for a second. Going to tug my ear at my grandmother. Welcome to the Fat Man Beyond, the old timey radio hour. Some of the oldest shit on the planet.
This next news story is brought to you by Patriot Brand Cigarettes. Smoke them if you're a real American. Our last story of the day is that Depp and Skarsgård, different Skarsgård, not the Depp you think of, are sinking their teeth into Robert Eggers's Nosferatu film. Robert Eggers, who made The Northman most recently, and then he'd done The Lighthouse before that, is making it with Lily Rose Depp and Bill Skarsgård.
And Bill Skarsgård. She's wonderful. I mean, I'm a little biased. She's a OG yoga hoser.
Indeed.
She was in the cast of Tusk, Marc, so she'll probably be back for Tusks, the sequel coming 2024. But she's a wonderful actress. I'm always happy to see her pop up and stuff. I'm curious about this thing she did on HBO with The Weeknd and Barry Levinson's kid.
Right, the Sam Levinson, The Idol, I think it is.
Idol, yeah. But I'm always happy for her. She's such a good kid. So that's awesome. Fucking yeah, man. I'll see that. Some Nosferatu action. He's perfect casting. Fuck.
Very much so.
Yeah.
I mean, he's clearly playing the Transylvanian vampire, and she's playing the haunted young woman in 19th century Germany, stalked by said Transylvanian vampire.
You know, if you really want to catch my attention, reverse those roles. She's the vampire. He's the lady.
Do it. Robert Eggers, this was for you.
I'm in either way, man. You had me at Lily Rose Depp.
As I figured I might.
I'm not gonna say I do feel responsible, largely responsible for like her starting in the movies. She was not thinking about that at all. And then we did Tusk and Yoga Hosers, and now that's her world. So I take a little like point of pride when I see her doing stuff. I'm like, right on, man, go get it. All right, so that's the end of the news.
So the end of the news, there were a couple of trailers we could talk about, which don't quite hit reviews because they're not like deep into it. But New Wakanda Forever trailer dropped.
Yeah, that was great, man. A lot more Namor.
A lot more Namor. Namor fucking with the wings on his feet.
How fucking awesome was that? Watching him. I mean, I've been reading those comics for years, and I never saw it in my head that way. But they literally have him buzzing like a fucking a bee, like zzz, or a hummingbird and shit. It's fucking dope.
Hell yeah.
I'm ready. I'm ready for that movie. I heard on the internet somebody was saying that like somebody had a theory that Killmonger's coming back. Which I was like, Killmonger's dead, but they were like, remember that monologue about throw me in the ocean with my ancestors and stuff? And they're like, who's in the ocean? I'm like, Namor. What if that was it? What if they found a way to bring him back and shit? Oh, I can't wait to see that movie. Ryan Coogler, fucking genius. So that movie looks dope. And they've already now shown us that the Black Panther looks like a lady. I'm pretty sure it's Shuri. Pretty sure that it's Shuri.
Well, I mean,
for the fact that it could be Angela Bassett as well.
There's a lot of ladies in that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Do you think that's how they're going to run it? Like a little mystery, the whole movie, and be like, which one's in the suit?
I mean, I hope not, except that I know they're going to run it as a mystery now, because it could be Shuri for sure. It could be Okoye for sure. It could be Nakia for sure. It could be Queen Ramonda for sure. Any of those four women could totally be there. And Michaela Cole is playing another Wakandan, agent of the Dora Milaje. She could be like, we have a smorgasbord of potential powerful women who could get in that suit. It's probably not Riri Williams because she's got her own.
Yeah, she got the Ironheart suit.
The Ironheart suit. But yeah, my one sadness about this movie is that I will be in the United Kingdom on opening day at a convention in Harrogate called Thought Bubble.
Listen to your first world fucking problems.
I know. I'm going to be traveling internationally. I won't be in America for the opening day of the Black Panther movie. I'm sorry.
Well, I'll tell you what day is it open?
November 11th. A month and a day.
Let me look. I'm curious. November 11th. I am on November 10th. I'm at Kansas City, the Midland, doing Clerks 3, the convenience tour. and November 10th. That's November 10th. November 12th, I'm at Oklahoma City. But right now, November 11th, I got nothing.
Ooh.
So maybe I fly back to SModcastle Cinemas for Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Host those screenings for the very first Merry Marvel Movie Society screenings.
Yes. But yes, no, I will see it in the UK. I will hopefully see it before I go. I'm trying my best. You all right over there? Flash dancing in the corner.
I am. That's what I'm going to be doing. All right.
And there's one more trailer that maybe we talk about, maybe we don't. You tell me how you feel about Super Mario.
I didn't see it. That trailer's up.
Trailer's up.
I also did not see the trailer for Glass Onion. I think they put a trailer up today.
Yeah, there was one up earlier, and then they announced that tickets were on sale for the limited theatrical run that they're doing.
Knives Out 2, was it called Glass Onion, Knives Out,
Yes.
or just Knives Out, Glass Onion?
It's Glass Onion, a Knives Out thriller, I think is what they're calling it.
Very nice. Look at him with his own franchise. Ryan Johnson sitting there going like, I've never done a franchise before. He took so much crap for somebody else's franchise. He did the smartest thing he could. He created his own. Good for him.
And got paid for it.
Yeah, and nobody's ever going to be like, you're doing it wrong. He's like, fuck you. Say that to the guy who does, read Knives Out, the reboot 10 years, 15 years from now.
Works in.
All right, we got to talk about some shit we seen.
We can talk about some shit we've seen. I got 3 things that I've seen that we can talk about.
Do we want to do another ad or save that for the Q&A?
I mean, we can do it now.
Let's save it for the Q&A. That way anybody that wants to fuck off, they don't have to hear the ads then. All right, we're going to talk about some shit that we seen, kids. I'm going to tell you right now a story. It's going to have spoilers galore. So if you haven't seen this shit, plug it up. Just like I said in Carrie, plug it up. And that was such a fucking sentimental scene, if I remember correctly.
Oof.
I watched Werewolf by Night, Mark.
Did you?
In Theater 1 of SModcastle Cinemas. Dr. Josh Roush hooked up the laptop. So we got to watch this glorious black and white fucking vision on the big screen on a Friday night, like 11 o'clock and shit. I was eating my fake meats, Unreal Deli. I was smoking my weed, Caviar Gold. I was drinking my Liquid Deaths. I had my feet up. It was heaven. So all the conditions to watch the movie were perfect. And it's not a movie, of course. It's like an hour-long special. And boy, did it fucking deliver. It was so fun, so beautiful. Who knew that, Michael Giacchino, the composer, was such a strong visual fucking stylist as well. It's unfair to be good at 2 things, making music and making movies. And he made a fine homage to Universal horror using characters from the horror end of the Marvel universe. Old 70s characters, man. Werewolf by Night goes way the fuck back. And, spoilers, Man-Thing, who they turned into a lovable snuffleupagus type character. But he also had his touch, that fucking sears the guilty and shit. So they took all the elements and mixed them up and gave them a modern spin. And turned it into a buddy comedy of sorts. But my God, it was fucking, they didn't spare on the gore. Certainly didn't feel PG-13. Loved it. More of this, Marvel, like one-offs that just expand the universe. Maybe one day we see Werewolf by Night pop up in another thing now that he's been established. But man, it was such a good fucking time. It looked incredible projected on the big screen. So I guess if you watched it on your laptop or on a TV, it looked great too. But in a dark ass movie theater and shit, projected at 1080p, I had a good ass time. What about you?
I liked it. I don't think I liked it quite as much as you did.
That's because you didn't get high and watch it in my movie theater.
No, that was clearly my problem. I was in the wrong venue for the wrong thing. I liked all of it. I didn't love any of it. To me, it felt like the volume could have been turned up a bit on everything. Like it could have been a little bit scarier, it could have been a little bit funnier. It could have been a little bit gorier. And I think that I love some of the performances. Gael Garcia Bernal is great as Jack Terrier. The best name ever for a werewolf. I think Laura Donnelly is a lot of fun as Elsa Bloodstone, and I liked her from the Nevers. Like the cast was all good. I just wanted a little bit more richness to everything they were doing, and I really wanted the werewolf to be more impressive.
Look better than he did.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like a guy in a suit, a guy wearing kind of like a furry, fluffy vest. When Man-Thing is over there as a complete full-on CG creation, which looks great.
Right.
And so, like, if you're going to keep to the universal horror feel of it, and that's why he's wearing just a shaggy, costume and some like grease paint to get you to werewolf, then Man-Thing also should have been that same aesthetic. It was the split of the two. I was like, why? Not that he needed to be some CG monstrosity, but there's a version of it that is practical makeup that is a little bit more pulpy than what this was. There's American Werewolf in London version of it, which was again no CG at all, but was frightening and like gory and teeth and musculature and bigger than the previous version of him was. Like I don't know. I just wanted, we're building to this, then make that awesome. And for me, it was just a little shy of awesome.
Whoever knows fear, Mark, burns at the touch of the Man-Thing.
Indeed.
What a rich treasure trove of characters that they have unexplored. They instantly made Man-Thing a thing, a giant-sized Man-Thing. Bunch of strangers who were like, who is this guy? What's the fucking story? He's adorable.
And I didn't quite get the shift to color at the end.
Man-Thing, we're getting a lot of feedback on Twitter, Mark. Man-Thing was practical. Man-Thing was practical with a touch of CGI. Every time he was running, that was CGI. But in real life, like in the close-up shots in the bush, Man-Thing was practical.
No, I buy that. But yes, when it's like big and lunging and doing stuff, like it's at the very least CG enhanced,
right?
If not a pure CG creation. But yeah, like don't get me wrong. That is in no way me saying I didn't like it. I'm just saying that there was a version of it that's just a little bit edgier, I think, in almost every way. But I still dug it. Like it was a fun hour. And I was glad to see that like the black and white was so good. I didn't understand why we shifted the color at the end of it. I was like, what's this about? Like, is there a story reason why suddenly we're in color or not? It just seemed to be, let's see color things. Let's see that our jacket is actually red. Like, okay, I guess that's cool, but didn't need it at all.
Do you think they'll do another one at Halloween each year?
I mean, they should. I mean, if I was them, there's a version of this that could have dropped like Beyonce. Just on Halloween, it just shows up on Disney Plus. Like I kind of didn't need any lead up or preamble to it. Just, this is for you. Happy Halloween.
That means maybe next time they do Tomb of Dracula.
Ooh, that'd be nice.
All right, what else did we watch?
Let's see. Are you caught up on Andor?
Hey, can I tell you a thing about
Please.
I referenced it way early in the evening, the Howard the Duck cartoon. That when Jeff was running Marvel Television, which was a separate division from Marvel Studios. Now it's all one thing, but back then, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the Netflix Marvel shows, that was all under Jeff and Marvel Television. So he was the one that like reached out to me and was like, I got something that I think you'd be perfect for. Can you come in and meet, sign an NDA? And I did. When I got in the room, he was like, Howard the Duck. And I was like, of course. Absolutely. What a no-brainer. So we were doing, there were 4 series. There was the Patton Oswalt MODOK series. There was the Hit Monkey series. There was Dazzler and Tigra, and there was Howard the Duck. So our crossover event, the I forget what it was called, the Offenders, was called the Offenders giant size Man Thing. So they were all going to meet Man Thing in our crossover event. When the show got scuttled, it was when Kevin Feige kind of absorbed Marvel Television and it became a part of Marvel Studios, and they started doing the Disney Plus shows. Two of them were deep into production, like MODOK had already shot a bunch of things or been producing, it was animated. Same with Hit Monkey. So they gave them their full order. To stop them would have meant shelving it and stuff. They, and back then people didn't do that sort of thing. That's more of an HBO Max thing of recent. So the two shows that we were just in development, like we had a writer's room on Howard the Duck. But Dave was in charge of that. I was kind of busy on Masters of the Universe, so Dave was in charge of that room. And then we got the word that they're killing Dazzler and Tigra and Howard the Duck. And they hadn't spent a lot of money on Howard the Duck just to write some scripts, but so, it was easy to kill. But part of the reason they told us was that they had plans for Man Thing. And I was like, what? And we finally saw those plans come to fruition. I'm so delighted that they brought them to life. So yeah, there's just a little bit of history to that project.
Very nice. Yeah, no, it was fun to see the Y Tu Mama Tambien boys on my TV the same week. Gael Garcia Bernal and Diego Luna.
That's right. In completely different context, in family entertainment.
Indeed.
If you've not seen Y Tu Mama Tambien, kids, it's no Andor. It's fucking and/or sex. Thank you.
And/or sucking.
Yes.
And a road trip. Maybe? Should we talk Andor, or do you want to stick with Marvel and talk She-Hulk?
Oh, let's clean up She-Hulk, because it was Daredevil, so I watched the fuck out of that episode. How I was also on tour though. So how did the internet react to Daredevil?
Pretty well.
Good, because I thought they might be like, he's too funny, and it's like, he's funny in the comics. He's quippy and stuff. I thought it was adorable. I thought Charlie Cox. Look, that's my Daredevil, the one that fucks. Like, I was so happy they did that. Lawyers in Love. I felt like Jackson Brown watching that fucking episode. She's charming as fuck, and he, we're used to seeing the more broody version of Matt Murdock and Daredevil. To see him swashbuckling, like the one shot where she's looking over and, clearly CG, something they didn't do a lot of in the Netflix show, but where he's springing from fucking floor to floor as he descends the parking garage, straight out of the fucking comic books. I thought it was funny that they gave him the red and yellow, because they're like, this is his first appearance in this world. I loved when they did the moment where, she was like, who are you? And they played his theme music from Netflix. He was like, I'm Daredevil. The him walking home, the walk of shame in his costume in LA, I totally went with. Nobody would know the Devil of Hell's Kitchen in Los Angeles, so it wouldn't fucking matter. So it was good for a sight gag. But I loved it. I loved that they brought him in. I look forward to the future. If that's our Daredevil, I'll watch fucking 20 episodes of that TV show, whatever they're putting together. And Charlie Cox, man, I'm sure Charlie Cox was like, seriously? I get to fuck? And he did that in the Netflix show, but one episode.
Yeah.
Even he came in 3 episodes and then finally they fucking nutted. It's like they fucking took it right to the bed. I was like, that's Matt Murdock. That's the motherfucker who wanted Typhoid Mary so fucking much that he continued to fuck her even when she was his bitter enemy. She continued to fuck him. He could not say no to the sex, bro. And as a Catholic, it drove him nuts inside. But he's so good looking and everybody wants to fuck him that's his curse and shit like that. I love that version of Matt Murdock. Like that's.
Yeah. And I love that version of Jen Walters. I love that version of Jen Walters. Like, you know what? I'm gonna fuck that dude.
Well, she's been that version since they started the show. She's been very sexually liberated and/or active. It's just so nice that they threw, last episode or two back, they did her dirty where she fucked a guy who's like, an asshole or fucking taking pictures, whatever shit. But keep fucking the Matt Murdocks of this world. I want to. He was so charming. I'm glad to hear the internet didn't shred him and be like, this ain't fucking Daredevil, man. Because I was like, that legit is Daredevil right there. That looks like the Daredevil of the comics that I read. Maybe not.
I mean, the internet remains shitty about She-Hulk in general. And they use the opportunity of She-Hulk being a sexually liberated, sexually active single woman as a like, our Marvel heroes they're not whores like that. Like, well, yeah, they totally are. Remember like that first Iron Man movie? He's that guy. He's always that guy.
Like legit. Remember the fucking she did a spread on me last year.
Mm-hmm.
He said about the journalist.
Yeah. So like Marvel's done this before. They've just not let a woman do that before. And so it's always interesting when the coin is flipped a little bit. I thought the last two episodes of She-Hulk were very, very strong, coming off of the wedding episode, which I thought was the worst episode of the season so far. And so it's been wonderful to see them sort of crest towards the end of this season.
Can I share a comment with you from Evan Fowler? Says he's of Daredevil and She-Hulk. He's a lot more flippy now too. He's bouncing all over the place, and I'm like, oh yes, bounce, blind man, bounce. I did. I absolutely love that. When they first did that shot, and I saw that shot like in the teaser before the show got put out, I was like, oh my god, like they sat there and they're like, how can we differentiate this guy? And the Netflix version had that amazing hallway fucking beatdown scene, which is like, this is what it would be like in real time. But, these Disney Marvel is very heightened. And I thought it was a smart choice to make him jumpy, to make him like Daredevil in the fucking comics. Here comes Daredevil, man. A man without hope is a man without fear.
Indeed. So yeah.
Is that the quote? A man without hope is a man without fear. Yeah, I think that was the quote.
I'll take your word for it. So yeah, no, I dug it. I look forward to the finale. I don't quite know what the Titania of it all has to do with anything. Maybe it was a red herring, maybe it's something we're supposed to care about, but I don't. And for the internet to be the villains, I get it. She's been doxxed is ultimately the badness of the end of She-Hulk. So I'm curious.
Joshua pointed out in chat, and I remember this happening, they teased the hallway scene and then dropped She-Hulk on it. So there he was about to do the hallway beatdown, and then she just fucking comes through the floor. Yeah, somebody on chat, they passed up, but they were like, Daredevil took this show in a quantum leap forward. She had the most character development in 7 episodes. I agree. It's a hallmark episode, not just because I'm like, I like Daredevil or I like Charlie Cox. Like they really hit I've enjoyed the show the whole time, but I felt they really hit their fucking stride with this episode. And if that's Daredevil, if that's the MCU Daredevil, I'm ready to receive it. I'm ready to receive it. I'm going to lean forward and pull my ass cheeks apart and receive it as fucking rectally as possible. It's right up my alley, Mark.
Literally.
Yeah.
Alley. All right, let's talk about Andor. Just bring it home with Andor.
Go ahead. I haven't caught up yet, so you can spoil it. I'm still on episode 2. I like it. I like it, but it's
it's a little slow going until it isn't.
Josh had an idea, Josh Rouse, of like, well, let's put it up in the theater and watch it. I was like, okay, but we're gonna need like 8 hours or something. They're up to like what episode now?
They're on episode 5. I think 6 drops on Wednesday. And the way it breaks down is in 3-episode arcs. The first 3 episodes are a chunk, which is the recruiting of Cassian Andor. The second 3 episodes are the mission. This first mission is a member of the nascent rebellion. And I love it. I love it. I love it because every scene is about something. Every scene is a surprise within the scene. Every character is very clear what they're looking for. And there are scenes that feel domestic at times, like the Mon Mothma and her shitty husband stuff and her weird family dynamics, which you'll get to in the second chunk. But on Coruscant, I'm just watching like the awfulness of the world that she lives in and why it seems as if she's steering so hard into helping build the rebellion. And Stellan Skarsgård is just phenomenal as this sort of chameleon who is both the bank of the Rebel Alliance and this kind of chameleon who's got to be a glad-handing business guy within it. All that stuff is so great. The like guys on a mission stuff of episodes 4, 5, and what I'm assuming will be 6. It's all gathering storm until the storm goes off.
DK in chat wrote, Mon Mothma is my Boba Fett.
I don't even know what that means, but okay.
She's a prominent character in the show, right?
Yeah, very much so.
That's what he's saying. He's like, that's my Boba Fett. Like,
okay.
Is she pretty big character?
Yeah, I mean, it's the action is not revolving around her yet, but she's got like 4 or 5 scenes so far, and they're all really good. And just the banality of the Empire is very much at play here. And all of these threads are beginning to connect, and they're all beginning to weave in a really interesting way. And yeah, the fact that we are distant from Skywalkers and lightsabers, and like when you see a TIE fighter, it's legit an instrument of fear in a real way that hasn't been true in a good 30 years in Star Wars. Like, you're afraid of the Empire. And I'm kind of in love with it. And some of it is because, much like Rogue One, we are not worried about the Force here. We're not worried about, the grand machinations of an empire and good and evil. We're just like people on the ground trying to get the work done. And what's the work? The work is trying to find a way to hope. And without hope, there is no fear.
Spoilers. Does the robot come back yet?
Not yet.
Still no?
No K2SO so far.
Crazy. I thought based on Dark Nate's artwork for tonight's show that K2SO came back or something, but
I mean, I think that Tony
don't
Gilroy,
they gotta steal him and reprogram him and shit? So he becomes part of their gang?
They do, but I think we have 3 seasons of this show in which that can happen. Because I think that's what he said. He said there were 3 seasons before it ends where Rogue One begins.
DK in chat says, my Boba Fett comment explained. People loved Boba for being a cool looking character that was just background. I've always gotten stupid excited to see Mon Mothma show up briefly. I back that.
All right. I can give you that.
You can fucking, it's all right. Everybody is a fan of somebody. And if you're a Mon Mothma fetishizer, by all means, man. Oh, Banff Man's here. He's got something to say about Mon Mothma. He's probably jerked off to her once or twice. Take it away, Banff Man.
I mean, every once in a while, you got to switch up Princess Leia. What I hope with Mon Mothma is she's got this great bitchin' new haircut. Is that by the end of the Andor series, we get her with like the blunt bang kind of little boy haircut. And like that's the big reveal at the end. It's like the Rebel Alliance is here and Mon Mothma has bangs. So the show continues to be the most adult Star Wars there ever has been.
Absolutely. You know, and that is not in any way pejorative to anything else that has been Star Wars up until now. Um, because even though, as George Lucas said, as John Favreau seems to believe, or at least has infused the Star Wars that he's actively at work on, is that it can be, you know, a kid's enterprise that adults can watch because it always has been, and there's nothing wrong with that. But Andor is not concerned at all with that. Like they're very much about bureaucracy. They're very much about the inner workings of a rebellion. They're very much about, you know, what makes grown men do bad things for good reasons, and what are the small ways that people are pushed from one side of the lane to the other.
What makes grown men do bad things?
It could be most anything.
What makes grown men do bad things? Okay, that's a pop top 40 hit if I ever heard one right there. Hey, hold on. Hold that thought, man. I have a very important thought. Isaiah Hernandez in chat says, apropos of nothing, Kev, I got to watch Clerks 3 twice. Once by myself in the theater. That's how you see Kevin Smith movies, by yourself in a theater. And then again at the Balboa Theater. That's San Diego. It's packed. But I took my mom for her birthday. It was great experiencing seeing my mom's reaction during the show. Isn't that beautiful? Don't you want some of that?
Oh.
Clerks 3 movie, kids, and see if we're rolling into your town with the convenience tour. We're going to Toronto tomorrow. That show's sold out, but you still get tickets for Wednesday. Ottawa sold out. Grand Rapids sold out. Detroit's got some tickets left. Montreal's got some tickets left. Come on out, kids. Go to Clerks 3 movie. They just added a Boston show and a Hartford, Connecticut show and a San Antonio show. I'm done selling.
Oh. I was just going to say, which you haven't seen, but did you notice the Shankara stones had been stolen from the village in Temple of Doom and were sitting on the shelf on Coruscant in the Antiquities Museum?
In Luthen's gallery.
And in the previous episode, Indiana Jones's whip is in carbon freeze, a small carbon freeze block on his shelf as well.
Oh, that's lovely.
Rafi's Chaw and fucking chat says, weren't we talking about Andor? Kevin's self-obsession is brutal. Rafi, self-obsession, commercial is not self-obsession. It's how we pay the fucking bills. You know how you're watching the show for free, fucking Rafi? You know how you didn't pay a fucking dime to watch it? Periodically, we have to sell a fucking thing, like a ticket. So shut the fuck up, Rafi. God, the internet's getting on my tits tonight, Mark.
You're not even tweaking them.
Not even fucking I mean, what the fuck? Like, how hard is it not to say something? Kevin's self-obsession is brutal. Fucking selling tickets, Rafi's Chaw. I don't know how this shit works.
Speaking
Somebody
of,
says YouTube isn't free. We watch commercials or pay premium fees. Not to me. I don't get a dime of that shit. So it's fucking, yeah, it is free. Oh my God. I hate the equivocators, man. Well, technically that's not right. No, it is right. Costs you nothing but time. Fucking
since we're selling stuff,
yeah,
we got a Black Man Beyond tomorrow. If you guys would like tickets and you're in LA.
What time?
We are rolling at 8 p.m. at Scum Villainy Cantina. Me and Malcolm Barrett will roll into the cantina, and I have no agenda other than to hang out with Malcolm behind a bar. Maybe we'll tell some stories. Maybe some news will break that we can cover. I think I will save my feelings about Interview with a Vampire, AMC's new show, for tomorrow. So
you watched it? Give us a little taste. Give us a little spoiler.
A little spoiler. I don't hate it.
All right, there it is. Say no more. That's a rave from Mark Bernard right there.
I did see somebody in the chat. I don't remember what his name was. It's like, roast me next, Kev. Bring it. Come on, Big Daddy.
Ace Moonshot says Kevin isn't monetized. Is that a YouTube thing? Does that mean like
we don't? Yeah, I don't think we monetize with ads the show.
Oh,
I mean, we
so
sell.
the asshole who's like, we watch commercials, is even more wrong.
I don't think we click because we have like sponsors. I don't think we monetize.
Kids, fucking, you never open your mouth until you know what the fucking shot is. Just maybe it's because I'm 52 and I've learned over life, but what a fucking ugh. Anyway, sorry. Every once in a while, the internets me.
It does what it was designed to do. Not bringing as much porn as you like.
We do not. Walrus Onion says you do not do ads. Just a little tag that says sponsored. No commercials on our stuff. Like, you know what I would like to do, Mark? Take a lot of money, fly around the world to these people's houses and engage them personally. I've seen it happen in a movie once. Looked hysterical.
You have fun. I'm gonna keep my ass at home.
So Andor.
I highly recommend it. It is my favorite Star Wars in a long time.
No if and or buts about it.
Not at all.
Not as good as your fucking pun from earlier. Look, you won the internet all night.
I think JC would concur.
Bam.
I was waiting. God, the fucking timing of that was driven a truck through that fucking pause. Well done.
I love Andor. I may have said it last show, but I'll say it again. I think that the fact that Favreau and Filoni are feeding us the new George Lucas version of Star Wars makes Andor feel all the better as well, because I got Luke Skywalker back with a green lightsaber, which is the only thing I ever wanted, and now I'm like, oh, I'll take adult Star Wars. I'll take this other Star Wars. I'll take the Star Wars, the Jack Porkins story, or whatever that you want to give me, because I got what I always wanted.
Porkins ain't happening, is it?
No, unfortunately.
But you know it's going to. It just like the internet manifested its Morbin time. Porkins will happen.
Like Skinny Porkins is going to show up, and like that at some point there's the depressed Porkins who just eats a bunch of fucking burritos and shit. It's like, God damn it, I got to wedge my ass into this X-wing again. My best friend just died.
Played expertly by Christian Bale, who drops 40 pounds to get to Skinny Porkins, and then puts on 200 to get up to X-Wing Porkins.
Nice.
Hey, has anybody watched the Hellraiser thing yet?
I haven't. No, I hear good things.
Yeah, I want to watch it. I hear it's very faithful to the Clive Barker source material.
I am also a pussy when it comes to horror, and so I do tend to take my time.
Will tear your soul apart. Pleasures of the flesh. I remember I watched that movie with my high school girlfriend, with Kim Lochran, and in the scene where he like somebody cheats on somebody. It's like the wife cheats on the husband with the brother, and the brother's the one that's into like the Cenobites and shit like that. And if you've ever seen the scene in Chasing Amy where Holden McNeil is sitting next to Alyssa Jones and he's trying to dig into her fucking past with these leading comments and shit like that at the hockey game, that was what I was like watching that movie. I was so triggered by that like infidelity thing. We had a infidelity dalliance scare, if you will, in our young 16-year-old relationship. So there we are watching Hellraiser, and that cheating thing happens, and I'm just like, well, that's fucking horrible, isn't it? That's clearly the door to hell is infidelity. Like, who would do that? Could you imagine fucking like having sex with somebody's brother, like so, if you talk to her today, if you track down Kim Lockard and be like, do you remember watching Hellraiser with Kevin Smith? She'll be like, oh, you know what, the horror show, it was nothing on screen. It was him fucking inferring that I would cheat on him like the characters in the movie. He's the real Cenobite. He Cenobites the dick, I'll tell you that much. So I look forward to watching this new incarnation and not feeling the same way.
Excellent. Should we do our last ad and then get into a Q&A?
Let's do it, man. Let's do it. You know what? I'm going to watch Hellraiser in my movie theater next week.
All right, listen, you need to stop just fucking teasing us about that shit. Like, what am I going to do now? Oh, I don't know. I suppose I could watch this YouTube video or watch it in my movie theater next week.
Mark, don't be hating because I'm as spoiled as month-old milk.
You're living your best William Randolph Hearst life. Like, I think I'll go down to the theater and perhaps watch this episode of Doogie Howser, MD.
You know, it's just how he had those parties that he would have people around and shit because he had no friends. Same fucking thing. I bought a movie theater so people have to come hang out with me. I'm like, free movies. Ooh, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna institute a card that I give out to special people like yourself. First one's getting one is Shane Coleman. He was my AD on Clerks 3, and he AD'd this shoot that we did with Logic this weekend as well. It's the SModcastle Cinemas Stan Lee status card.
Ooh.
Gets you into movies at SModcastle free for life, bitch.
Wow.
I'm gonna give that shit out like PBA cards, bro.
You can't give me a ticket. I got my PBA card.
Exactly. When you get to the theater and they try to charge you, you pull out your fucking card, and then the guy behind the counter, girl behind the counter. Let's be honest, the high school kid behind the counter is gonna be like, "Step this way. You have Stan Lee status."
Nice. It's the no prize.
No, it's all prize. Free fucking movies for life. You can come see every damn movie you want. You can sit through 8 showings of Lyle Crocodile. Might be alone, but you'll have a roof over your head.
But it's the no prize because you got to give no money.
That's true. Technically speaking, you could use that card to live in the theater for your whole life.
You could. Are you homeless? No. I live here.
Did you ever want to live in a movie theater, kids? Below Silent Bob? Well, here's your chance.
As long as you can dodge security when they close up for the night, it's all yours.
Banff.
It's Banff Man. What's up, Banff Man?
Do you think Tom Hanks would do a movie about the homeless guy who lives in the movie theater with the card as a sequel to The Terminal?
I legit like that movie, man. Nobody talks about that movie anymore, but I was a good flick. He was good in that movie.
Like the Spielberg movie nobody talks about, The Terminal.
That was a Spielberg movie, wasn't it? In my head, it was Bob Zemeckis, but no, that was Spielberg.
Yeah.
Could you imagine making so many movies that people have stopped talking about some of them, and yet you're still like a living legend? That new movie of his looks fucking phenomenal.
The Fablemans.
Whatever. What is it?
The Fablemans.
The Fablemans. Oh, fuck. That looks good. Looks amazing.
Yeah.
Looks like he'll probably win an Oscar and like be like, I'm done.
You know what? This was it.
How beautiful to stick the landing and tell the story of how you fell in love with movies in the first place.
I mean, if that's not a way to go, if you're thinking about it. But I'm sure he's also got 9 other movies lined up afterwards because he doesn't feel like a dude who wants to stop making movies.
Eric Holler in chat says, Jesus, the homeless guy living in a movie Cineplex is a movie. Start writing. Once again.
Hey, I didn't give it away.
Just giving out gold on this fucking show. Just fucking
that.
Gold. And yet
I didn't.
Yet fucking the Raffies Chaws of this world have fucking nerve to say I'm self-absorbed.
Oh, Rafi.
I'm giving out gold, kids. Giving out gold.
Giving out gold like you're giving away Bluechew pills, my friend.
Ooh. You smell that, kids? That's the smell of our bills being paid, man. Our second sponsor of the evening. You get to watch me and Mark sitting here doing this, shucking and jiving, because every once in a while we have to try to fucking sell you something. Before, I tried to sell you some tickets to the Clerks 3 tour, and I get yelled at by the Raffies of this fucking world. Well, eat it, Raffy, because right now, Bluechew is going to take the goddamn stage, man. Our friends at Bluechew, ladies and gentlemen, they love this show so much, they keep sponsoring. I guess it means that y'all are bluing and chewing, man. If you want to benefit from extra confidence when it's time to perform, you know what I'm talking about. Chew it and do it. And just have some better sex. Fuck. I mean, I've never put that on my grave. Put that on my tombstone. Chew it and do it. Have better sex. People be like, well, I guess he's talking to us from the grave. They've got a special deal for our Fat Man Beyond listeners. Try Bluechew free for nothing. FOC, free of charge. When you use our promo code FATMAN at checkout, just pay $5 for shipping. That's it. That's bluechew.com, BLUECHEW.com. Promo code FATMAN to receive your first month free. You're chewing on these fucking pills. You're having better sex. You're chewing it and doing it. It's all free. Visit bluechew.com for more details and important safety information. Make sure you can eat these things. And we thank Bluechew for sponsoring this podcast. Bluechew, tell them what it does for you, Mark.
What does it do for you? It's a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in chewable tablets and at a fraction of the cost. You can take them anytime, day or night. You can plan ahead or be ready whenever opportunity arises. The process is simple. Sign up at bluechew.com, consult with their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, receive your prescription within days. No doctors and visits off, no visits to doctor's office, no awkward conversations, no waiting in line. The nights are getting longer, guys, but the breeze isn't the only thing that's getting stiff. And that's right, this episode was sponsored in part by Bluechew.
It's some good writing. It's good copy from those Bluechew kids.
Oh, hell yeah. Breeze is stiff. I like it.
It's just sexy enough.
Yeah, not like over the head sexy.
Like Benny Hill dirty.
With a little yakety sax in the background.
You're chewing on a Bluechew, and then he runs around in a circle real fast, jumps in bed, humps real fast, gets up, runs around, slaps a little bald guy in the head.
Yeah, there's a nurse there who's like, you're being bad, but she's barely wearing an outfit. And then he runs away and his dick's wagging in the air because he's fond of the Bluechew. Yes, so try Bluechew free when you use your promo code FATMAN at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's bluechew.com, promo code FATMAN to receive your first month free.
Josh Tyler in chat says, I just moved from Italy back to the States, and this is my first live show. Welcome back, Josh Tyler.
Buonanotte, Josh Tyler.
Yeah, welcome back, my expat friend.
Grazie
The land of the free and the home of the brave.
And even
America, where everything's fucking bigger and better and more ambitious. We don't sleep in America because we make our dreams come true in the day.
Oh, wow.
Okay. You know what?
Yeah.
It's time for the best ass portion of this show, kids.
Let's do it.
You know what that means. That's right. We're here to pump you up.
Circle jerk.
We're going to do some Q&A, kids. We can't do that till Banff Man shows up. I think I hear him coming. There he is. Banff Man's here, everybody. All right, Banff Man.
All right.
Selected by these questions 3, kids.
So a couple things. First, we had a good comment in chat and I missed it. But we had a couple people saying that your mom should host an Elvis film festival at your movie theater. And you should get Austin Butler, Yoga Hosers alum, to come.
Number 1, brilliant. Number 2, my mother loves to be involved in the center of attention. So that's great. She's 76 and right now she's in the hospital. Thank you for bringing her up. Gives me a chance to wish her well. I know she watches from time to time. She's a big Kevin fan, but she's in the hospital with the flu. And for a woman at 76, yeah, it's dangerous when you're 76. And thank God it's not COVID, but it is the flu. And I talked to her today, and ooh, she sounded like a stoner, man, with a big, milky fucking cough, mucusy cough. Tiger. So get well soon, Ma. Hopefully that hospital's pumping you full of pomp, you full of drugs. Kill that.
On the mend, Grace. On the mend.
Yeah. Every night I'm on tour with Clerks 3, the convenience store kids. And there's a montage in the movie where the boys from the Quick Stop are auditioning for their fake movie. And a bunch of our famous friends show up and whatnot. And in a montage that features Ben Affleck, my mom gets an equally huge response from the crowd when she shows up. And she's tickled by that. She's like, I hear that every night people applaud me. I was like, that's right, Ma. I said, every night I fucking applaud you. That's for damn sure. I don't know how something this big came out of something so small. And when I do this, I don't want that to be like a fucking racist thing. I got to we used to be able to do this without it people being like, you can't make a circle anymore. So I guess I got to do this. But that don't look like my mother's vagina, Mark.
No, it looks like a spyglass.
Exactly. And my mom, you think I'd be using a spyglass on my mother? My father never.
Ladies.
This is more like vagina, right? Here's a pussy, here's some hairs and shit. Like, but oh no, fucking racists had to take the coolest. This used to mean okay. Or you could do like, well, I guess this is more like Zen, right?
It's
well,
this is
Spider-Man. This is Spider-Man. This is Spider-Man. There you go. But that's a lot of work to make. And it also implies that, you know, the vagina is, well, I guess that's kind of tight. But my first instinct.
We go from this, hearts, to this. Taquitos.
Oh, good Lord. They're talking in chat and they're like, fuck it, show's over. No, we're not. We haven't even started our questions yet.
3 questions to do.
He said, this is how the show goes to 4 hours. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Okay, get us there, JC. What do people want to know? I'm going to go quickly I got no drinks. So I'm feeling a little cotton mouth, so I can hear you. Ask away.
Okay. We had, I'll say this too. Christopher Fluker in chat said, Mark hates us all. He has a better script for DNA, which I kind of liked. Meaning like you could write all of our DNA better than what came out.
Make it taller, faster, better than he was before.
Okay. We had a couple people last week when we didn't do Q&A drop some really good questions. They showed up again this week.
Ooh,
so
okay.
I'm going to, we've got these questions from last week and this week. So, first one from Morty von Joshalot. You're tasked to create or reboot an IP specifically as a vehicle for Jason Lee. What's it about? Who's his foil and who's his nemesis? So you're creating something specifically, a new IP specifically for Jason Lee.
So wait, so it's rebooting a thing or is it a brand new show?
You can reboot or you can create.
Okay.
Do I go first?
You can go first.
Fletch tried to do it for 10 years, couldn't make it happen. Jason Lee as a young Erwin Fletcher. I wrote the script for Fletch 1, W-O-N. Somebody at Miramax, we don't want to say his name because it makes everybody go, ugh, but you know the guy I'm talking about. Didn't want Jason Lee and fought it for like a decade. I met with a bunch of people at the studio's behest. They offered it to Ben Affleck. He was almost going to do it, but then he decided to do the Ghosts of Girlfriends Past with Disney, and then they pulled the plug on that project. I met with Jake Gyllenhaal about was that Green Hornet or Fletch? That was about Green Hornet. I think I met with, who's the boy that did Garden State? Zach Braff. That was about Fletch. Because Bill Lawrence was going to do a version at one point. And now there's a current incarnation of Fletch with the wonderful John Hamm that was directed by the boy who
Tola, right?
Ventureland. Who is it?
Was it
Greg
Greg
Mottola,
Mottola?
yeah, who did the I think he did the Day Trippers.
Mm-hmm.
He's been around for like almost as long as I have. And yeah, I thought the movie was great, especially for somebody who loved the Fletch books. You know, when they said they're doing Confess Fletch, I was like, wow, that's deep in the run of books. But I thought he did a great job. And I thought John Hamm was the perfect Fletch, because Fletch in the books, like, no disrespect to Chevy Chase, I love the Chevy Chase Fletch movie. And Chevy Chase was attractive when they made Fletch, but in the books, this is a guy that everybody would fuck, like devastatingly fuckable. And that's how I think of like John Hamm. I guess that's revealing way too much about myself.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. All right, so
totally, I would fucking chow the fuck down on a ham sandwich. I'll tell you that right now. Give me that ham hock all day.
Ham and mayo,
right in my mouth.
Ham and Richard Gere.
I'd be fucking the Mayo Clinic, for heaven's sakes. So often.
Mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise. There's only two things that come from a Fletch movie, Mark, and that's John Hamm and John Slattery. John Slattery played his editor.
Aww.
Which was really cute. Frank.
Jason Lee. Somebody in chat mentioned Smoking the Bandit.
Oh, that's excellent.
Which is very good pull.
He always loved Smoking the Bandit. He had the mustache and shit.
Yeah. But I think I'm gonna go BJ and the Bear. I think he'd be a really fun long haul trucker with an orangutan sidekick.
It was a chimp in the old version, but you're going to make it an orangutan as a nod to the Clint Eastwood ape movie?
Indeed. And a nod to Clyde.
Right turn, Clyde. But then you got to get back. Who's going to be your Ruth Gordon? Banana Head. What are you doing, Banana Head?
Yeah,
God, she was amazing. Remember her in fucking Rosemary's Baby?
Oh, jeez. You gotta have the child.
He chose you out of all the girls in the world. And all the girls in the world, he chose you to bear his child. Oh, she was so fucking. One I've talked about before, but one of the scariest moments in the movie to me is in that scene where Rosemary, spoilers, comes in and finds the kid at the end, and she's got the knife, and she's like, "What have you done to him?" And she drops the knife on the floor, and the knife like lands in the hardwood floor, like jammed in the floor. And while all this cacophony is going on, they cut to a quick shot of Ruth Gordon, whose apartment it is. She pulls the knife out of the floor and does that to like the mark on the floor. One of the most banal, mundane, your grandmother does it all the time things in the middle of this absolute scene of madness where this woman is finding out that fucking she bore Satan's child. And he's in a fucking crib with cloven hooves and shit. And she's surrounded by a cult of old people. If you've not seen Rosemary's Baby and that didn't make you want to see it, I submit you're dead inside. It is a fucking amazing movie. That being said, of course, the director is very problematic. So maybe that's a reason not to, of course.
Then again.
Maybe I should just let that go.
I do, for some reason, I have a trucker theme in my head for Jason Lee. I think he'd be a great Jack Burton.
A what?
A great Jack Burton. In the Pork
I agree.
Express.
I agree.
Because you don't necessarily want an action hero, because my favorite part about Big Trouble in Little China is how inept Jack Burton is at almost everything. But that's where the comedy comes from. Wang is the dude who's going to be the kung fu hero, and Jack is just going to kind of show up and not dial. So I would watch that version too.
Love it.
I would. I want to see Jason Lee return as Jeff Beebe, the singer for Stillwater, in a television show after the band has broken up years later. So he's like the singer who is now touring, like Jason Lee or Jeff Beebe of Stillwater. Like he can't actually use the band's name because it's not the band, and just seeing him play tiny little clubs around the country, and
he's doing like Six Flags and commercial ads.
I think it'd be hilarious.
Your looks are becoming a problem.
I find that one person in the crowd is not getting off, and I make him get off.
Oh my God, that's good. All right. Next question.
Next question
is a gift. This T-shirt lets you say all the things you wanted to say.
Wow, that's deep cuts. Chris Wood is our He-Man himself is playing Russell Hammond in the Almost Famous musical on Broadway. And so I think he sings like I'm a Golden God. He asked me, he's like, are you going to the premiere? It starts in November, so you should come out and see him, Woody. He's out here, for the opening of this show, and Melissa is out here for her show, the Apple show that she's doing.
Mm-hmm.
So when she's done shooting, I think she's done February or March, Melissa going to come out here to the Secret Stash where I am right now, broadcasting live from Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash. And we're going to put up her Supergirl suit. She gave me her Supergirl suit to put up in the store. So
that's amazing.
Isn't that awesome to be in a case and shit like that? So she'll be here for the dedication. Then we'll probably do something at SModcastle as well. Maybe watch fucking the episodes of Supergirl that I worked with her on. So out on the East Coast is my point being. So I can't wait to see him sing in that fucking show.
I saw that show.
Really?
What?
I saw that show. So Almost Famous takes place in San Diego, and they did a preview screening run in San Diego. It was before Chris was part of the cast.
How was it?
It was really good, and we went because Almost Famous is Jen's favorite movie. So I actually, the way that I proposed to her 4.5 years ago now, was I rented out the Vista Theater, and I told her that my friend who runs the programming there got a print of Almost Famous and needed us to QC it so that, because he wasn't sure it was an actual film print. Maybe there's a scene missing or something. So she and I went there in the morning, watched Almost Famous on the big screen, and I had tagged the end of the movie with a video I cut with all of our favorite scenes from movies. And like we had gone and seen Winter Soldier together and all the stuff that we had done together. And instead of running the credits under Led Zeppelin's Tangerine, it was Plimsoll's Oldest Story in the World.
Oh, from Valley Girl.
So from Valley Girl, because that's like our song, and that's how I proposed. So then we drove down to.
Why is that your song?
So she was. Jen was. We had met and dated a little bit years and years ago, and then on the night of the Thor 2 premiere, it was raining in Hollywood. Hollywood Boulevard was shut down. And so she went and sat at the top of the Hollywood and Highland Mall and watched the Thor 2 premiere from up there and was like, I need to find a guy who's willing to sit in dirty Hollywood with me in the rain and watch movie stuff and not complain. And she was listening to that song on her iPod. And she was like, oh my God, that's JC. And that's how it all started.
And that's when she accepted Christ into her life. He's my rock. That's the oldest story in the world.
So anyway, so I've seen it. You should go see it. It's fun.
Tim Browsen in chat said, I wish JC would propose to me.
I don't know. I don't think I can do that.
Christian Nonkin backs up your story, says at the Thor 2 premiere, it was raining everywhere.
Everywhere at once.
All right. Question number
2. Digital Puppets says, If you could use deep fake technology to make a sequel to any movie with its original stars as they originally looked, which movie would you choose and why?
Buckaroo Banzai. Done. Over to Mark. Why? Fucking Buckaroo Banzai. And we were promised the World Crime League. So there you go. Over to Mark.
Never happened. Original movie was cast. I think Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
But they made a sequel, Butch and Sundance, the early days, a prequel, if you will.
They did, and that's the only way to do it. And it didn't star our guy, so I think that's the thing you do. Or, you know, a middle period movie before they, you know.
Wait a second. How do you do a sequel? They get fucking killed. Spoilers, killed at the end.
Yeah, before the hail of gunfire. I think there's either like a movie that slots in the middle there, like here's the whatever, when we went to Australia years.
I have one thing to say to you. Ready? Bolivia.
I got vision, and the rest of the world's wearing bifocals.
If you've seen Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid recently, that fucking wide shot.
Bolivia. Chef's kiss.
Deep cut joke right there.
Let's see. Another movie that didn't get a sequel that I loved. Because that's the thing. Like, there are movies that I love that did get sequels that were just not great. Like Smoking the Bandit 2 isn't awesome.
A lot of people in chat crawling for Beetlejuice 2.
Ooh.
I think we're getting a Beetlejuice 2. And I think
we are, but they want, you know, the other one.
You know what I want? I want the sequel to Hunt for Red October starring Alec Baldwin.
Ooh. Yeah. You have my attention, sir.
Young Alec Baldwin, Jack Ryan in Patriot Games.
Turbulence, warm air rises, cool air descends.
Let me be clear. You heard that torpedo hit the hull. You heard explosive decompression. I was never here.
One ping only. That's a movie like Die Hard, well, directed by John McTiernan, same guy. That is, you know, that you're like, oh, everyone's seen it. And there's an entire generation that's like, The Hunt for what?
It's like, what, you haven't turned on like BBC America at any weekend anywhere and not seen fucking Hunt for October on it?
See the recent episode of Rick and Morty where, you know, it's like there've been Blips and Chips has been invaded by terrorists, and Rick is telling Summer, just do a Die Hard. And she's like, what? And he's like, do a Die Hard. Do like they did in Die Hard. He's like, didn't you ever see Die Hard? She goes, I'm a 16-year-old girl. No, I've never seen fucking Die Hard. And that made me, that I thought that was a hell of a joke, but also an eye-opener where I'm like, you mean they don't make the kids watch Die Hard anymore?
What is elementary school for? You know,
no, fuck. I guess they got their own movies like Fast and the Furious and shit.
What do you mean you watch Die Hard? Who are you?
I thought it was required viewing. Anyway,
my parents never got babysitters for us when we were little because we were too poor. And I remember they got a babysitter. They paid someone to come and watch 3 kids under the age of 7, probably, so that they could go out to the movie theater and watch Hunt for Red October. That's how big of a movie that was.
Yeah.
Such a good movie, too.
Still holds up?
Really does. Still works. I should like to live in Montana. All right.
Okay, last one. Victor Venn Diagram also sent this question last week. He showed up again today and is asking again. Is there a movie that you think is great, but you can only watch once due to emotional impact or memory or something else? Grave of the Fireflies is mine.
Cats. I will never see Cats again. No, there's a movie that I saw at a screening that I think I liked. The experience is very, I'm not even going to say traumatic, except it's totally traumatic, that I will never watch again. And that's American History X. And the reason why I won't ever see that movie again is because it's the only film that I've ever gone to that there's a scene that had such a visceral reaction from me, like a physical reaction. It's the curb stomping scene when Ed Norton kills a dude and I can still feel it, even though you can't feel it, but he makes him open his mouth and put his like bite the curb and his teeth on the curb, like all, and then like, yeah, like they never show it, but of course they
you hear his teeth on the curb when they rest.
Yeah, like you feel all of that. And then the scene where then he fucking brings his foot down. And I have never in my entire life, like, I involuntarily turned away from that sequence. It is so harrowing and so visceral and so uncomfortable that I don't know if the rest of the movie is any good or not. I think it is, but I'm never going to watch it again.
That's a Tony Kaye movie, right?
Yeah. You know, and like Edward Norton is great in it. And I think, is that Edward Furlong? Is his younger brother?
Yeah, played his younger brother.
Yeah, like I just, that feeling of all of it, like never gonna watch it again. Don't know if it's good or bad. Never watching it again.
I was gonna go with a joke like yoga hosers, but Dan Horstman in chat threw up an example that instantly made my blood freeze. And I might have to agree with him because it was such an incredibly well-made movie, and I will never watch it again for the rest of my life. Irreversible, French film.
Gaspar Noé.
Oh my God. It is breathtakingly excellent filmmaking about some of the toughest subject matter on the planet. And the story is told in reverse. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. With Monica Bellucci, right?
Yes. It's incredibly well made, but after I watched it, I was like, I can never do this again. Like, that was tough. And that's not a condemnation of it as cinema. That's how fucking powerful and fucking horrible it is, man. But yeah, Vincent Cassel, Monica Bellucci. That movie was tough. Look it up, kids. Read about it before you go watching it, because it still haunts me, that flick. Like, I'll never go in a fucking underground tunnel. Just it's a fucking horror show, that movie, but incredibly well made, incredibly well acted. Haunting fucking movie. Oof. I own it. I owned it on DVD and Blu-ray, and I don't know why I even bought it on Blu-ray, because it's not like I was ever going to watch it a fucking second time. Oof. And not because it's bad. It's just,
yeah, there's a scene, much like American History X. It's like, I don't want anything to do with anything that's even near that scene. And I won't even start it knowing that at some point I have to get there. And so then it becomes, what's the point?
Russell Cook points out in the chat, Elephant Man bums me out too. That's too much to watch more. It's true. I would love to watch that movie. I haven't seen that movie since the 80s, but it would fucking destroy me. And don't get me wrong, I love crying. Like the other day after we watched, Werewolf by Night, I was talking to the kids at the theater about our favorite Marvel. One of the kids, Cooper, was like, I love Guardians of the Galaxy 2 because I saw it with my dad and he cried. And I was like, oh my God, you're right. That's an emotional movie. I said, Josh, run the last 20 minutes of Guardians of the Galaxy 2 in Theater 1. And we watched, spoilers, the whole fucking Yondu section, and just bawled, and the Ravager's funeral, and bawled my fucking eyes out, smoking weed. It was emotional bliss. So I love crying, getting cathartic with a motion picture, but some shit made me too emotional. I did cry at Irreversible, but not in that good cathartic way, more in the like, oh my God, I hate humanity way. And not because like I hate the filmmakers, like filmmakers braver than I ever would be in storytelling and stuff, just because the subject matter is so fucking harrowing.
Yeah. Did you ever get around to watching Coda?
No, the deaf movie that Apple won an Oscar for.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a movie that you can only watch once?
No. That is like, if you're looking for a good cry, like the most wholesome, wonderful cry that has ever been crugged, that movie has, like, there's a sequence in that film. It's probably around the Act 2 pivot into Act 3. That's just wonderful. And like, they kind of cry that I couldn't even stop, like the lip quivering, like involuntarily, like I'm gonna stop it. I can't even stop it. Oh man, all the tears. It's beautiful, beautiful. It's worth watching just for that.
Michael Morales pointed out in chat, some may say Tusk. That's true. I've seen a lot of people be like, I will never watch that movie again. They're like, I got it, appreciate it, can't fucking do it again. I got a few people in here talking about how Clerks 3 made him cry as well. I was a mess during Clerks 3, says fucking somebody here. I legit cried during Clerks 3. Clerks 3 made me bawl my eyes out, but I could watch that over and over again. Got me with Clerks 3, but I'd watch it again. Yeah, a lot of crying there. Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, Trevor Dugan says. Excellent fucking poll, because that movie has a haunting fucking closing shot that still sticks with me to this day. And whenever I'm driving and I see a piece of luggage on the side of the road, instantly I think of that fucking movie. I worked with that guy. He became Mr. Spenning, and then he became Yondu.
I know.
Take it way back to our conversation.
No, Iron Giant, Alyssa Hugs mentions in the chat. Yeah. First time I saw that movie, I was a fucking mess.
Superman.
I go, you stay.
I'm not a gun. Yeah, fuck, man. Fuck. What about you, Bamf?
Somebody said what dreams. I was trying to think. Somebody said What Dreams May Come, the Robin Williams movie, where he dies and he's battling through heaven to get back to his wife or his family. I remember. No,
he's trying to find his wife.
Oh, he's trying to find her. Yeah,
I remember she was a. Spoilers. Wait for it if you haven't seen it. It's a beautiful movie by Vincent. But what's his name? The guy who did Map of the Human Heart. A beautiful movie. And avec Albertine. He made this flick. What was it called again?
What Dreams May Come.
And in it, the Annabelle Shior character, who's married to Robin Williams, spoilers, if I remember correctly, she was a suicide. And he is trying to find her and save her in the afterlife. And it's heaven is a series of, it was very CG, like
paintings, yeah,
come to life. Yeah, beautiful movie.
That
gorgeous.
I think probably like Life is Beautiful, the Holocaust with wasn't that what it was called?
Yeah,
where he was with his son in the concentration camp. I remember that destroyed me when I saw it in the movie theater.
Vincent Ward is the director's name. Sorry.
Also, and I think just because it made me uncomfortable, Mickey Rourke, The Wrestler, which was a great movie, but I just remember watching it and feeling like so depressed about life and aging that I don't think I'll ever revisit that.
Jazz PDX in chat says Robin's character, spoilers if you've never seen What Dreams May Come. Let me see. Robin's character chooses to stay in hell with his wife who committed suicide. That's what happens in the movie. And he says, tell my kids I'm not leaving their mom. I got to rewatch this fucking movie. I remember bawling my eyes out, man. I love fucking movies that make me cry and shit. Like, remember, Dad, you want to have a catch?
Oh, yeah. But that's good. This is the one. I think I told the story a couple weeks ago. Matt, $1 Million Baby. I'll never rewatch $1 Million Baby.
Yeah, that's rough.
Mokushla, is that what her name was? And she fucking hits her head on the fucking stool. Oh, Oh. Oh, you just bummed me the fuck out, bro. I was having a good ass night until you reminded me of what happened to poor Mo Kushla or whatever the fuck her name was. Wow.
That's a good question.
Well, what
Coco.
a great way to end the show.
I know. Coco, that's another movie makes me cry.
Mhm.
Remember me. Oh, fuck. Lilo and Stitch still makes me cry. I'm lost. Oh. Family. Ohana means family. Woof. Good writing's good writing, bro. And family means nobody gets left behind or forgotten. Fuck, it's emotional shit right there.
Mhm.
I don't even need to watch a sad movie to cry. I just have to think about it. Not even a sad movie. Lilo and Stitch, a goddamn comedy. Funny as fuck. Legit funny movie. But Jesus, if there aren't some devastating moments in that movie. It's about grief and isolation. I love that movie so much. I know some people are like, hey, a movie, it's a fucking cartoon. Whatever, fuck. Lilo and Stitch. I'm going to show that at the fucking theater, man. Have a cry-thon. That's what I should do. A whole series of fucking,
Ooh, Father's Day.
No.
Movies to make your dad cry.
Cinema Kleenex. A
Nice.
series of movies that'll just make you cry in a movie theater.
Tear jerking off.
I mean,
Come on.
and
Come
it's,
on. Hold on. I got to add that to my fucking list. Jerking off is nothing short of brilliant.
the one that I can't watch with other people because I'm too embarrassed, but it makes me cry every single time is the end of Armageddon.
Really?
Where
Harry, I love you.
where
That part?
where Bruce Willis is talking to Liv Tyler over the video phone or whatever, and then the asshole guy is like, permission to shake the hand of the daughter of the bravest man I've ever met. And it's so cheesy, and Michael Bay has his spinning low angle with the American. But those two parts where he's saying goodbye to his daughter, I can't. It still gets me.
Can I
Every
make it
time.
all about me?
Mm.
I was on set when they shot that scene. When Liv was doing her side of it, crying about like her dad and stuff. That's when I went to visit Ben. He was like, come over, let me show you. And he showed me like the asteroid set, and it was an entire soundstage. I'd never seen anything like it in my life. And he was like, don't get intimidated. He's going, it's just a movie that just got more money. No different than what we do. I was like, it's a lot different than what we do. And so then he took me to the other stage, and it was Liv and Billy Bob Thornton shooting, and she was reacting to a pre-recorded to Bruce. They'd already shot his side. Anyway.
Yeah, and I was just thinking about the ending of Creed.
Yeah.
When when he goes down and he's fucking on the floor, and then he just sees that one flash of his dad, and then he jumps up like a man possessed, and then the fucking Bill Conti score kicks in. I was a mess.
Mm-hmm.
Gila Princess of Pirates says Beaches and Mask are two movies that have to be on a cryathon list. Yeah, Mask is a tough movie, man. Beaches, yeah, I remember Beaches is sad too. The ending of La Bamba still gets me, says Darth Crypto.
Richie.
Into the Spider-Verse, says JC, tears of all kinds. I 100% agree.
Yep, that's going to be playing in March.
As the Ides of Mark.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I'll watch that on a big screen again. Fuck. What's up, Danger? Then we'll see Marc cry. I'm gonna run a on you. Computer, yeah. Look at him cry. I'm gonna run that on the show every time you don't like. Steve Dorsher says, my wife says Steel Magnolias. That too has a sad ending. Shelby, spoilers. Shelby don't make it.
No.
Dan of Earth says, Cap dancing with Peggy. Never cried so hard in my life. Justin Joshin says, Endgame, Tony Stark dying.
Yeah, I watched that yesterday. The last 20 minutes of Endgame was on TBS or whatever the fuck it was. It's like, oh yeah, no, I'll watch it from here.
So emotional. You know what really makes me cry? Sometimes I watch it just to cry. Is Tony Stark meeting his dad in Endgame. That section of him meeting Howard. And he's like, it always fucking destroys me. And he goes, Howard, everything's going to be okay, when he gives him the hug. And he's like, thank you for all you've done for this country. I love that scene so much, where he's like, fucking, he goes, my old man said there wasn't any lesson he couldn't impart with a belt. And then Tony says, I used to be hard on my old man. Then I realized he did the best that he could. He did drop the odd pearl from time to time. And he goes, oh yeah, like what? And then he fucking says, with no hint of irony, as the richest man in the world who invented a time machine using a lot of money, he says, no amount of money ever bought a single second of time. The irony, Mark, is that they've literally bought 3 hours worth of time in the movie. But that's so fucking great. And then Howard's like, sounds like a smart guy or whatever. And fucking the way Robert Downey Jr. kind of looks away and says, like, he did his best is devastating, because we've seen his tortured relationship with his dad throughout the movies. And in that scene, they didn't go too mawkish. They didn't go too far. Everything about it was just fucking beautiful. John Slattery is so wonderful to watch in that scene. God, I love it. And then he, when he's just like, Jarvis, have I ever met that guy before? You meet a lot of people, sir.
What
Weird.
is he, hippie?
Mungo, what does he say? Something, or Mungo Jerry? It's like Mungo.
I always cry, and it's not like sad tears, but the when Cap gets the hammer, it's so emotional that the only way my body can handle it is to cry. Which it's also when I have like friends come over and I'm like, check out my TV and sound system. I always play that because it looks and sounds amazing. And then when I turn the lights on, I'm like, it's okay, right? You like the TV? Don't look at me. My eyes aren't red.
Yeah.
The chat has devolved into a series of movie moments that will make you cry. That's a really good read. Bunch of suggestions. Although Peter Kazol says, why didn't you go to NYCC? I did not go to New York Comic Con. I was engaged with SModcastle all weekend and shooting a music video. So I was going to go for the sake of going and stuff, but not as like a guy doing panels or anything. But I didn't make it. But I hear it was great. In fact, I saw footage of, as all the internet saw, of Christopher Lloyd and Michael J. Fox reuniting. There was Doc and Marty on stage. And they announced that Fred Armisen, my friend Fred Armisen, who pops up in Clerks 3, is playing Uncle Fester on Wednesday. And that show looks fucking dope.
Here for it.
I'm here for it. Is that it? Is that all we got?
I think so, man. Unless we just want to keep talking about movie moments that make us cry.
Always, bro. Always, man. I'll go with the emotion.
I'll plug that Wednesday, hosting trivia again. More geeky trivia if you want to come see me hang out. Last week, somebody who watches the show from Alaska came down for his 16th wedding anniversary, went to
Wow.
Clerks 3 to see you on Tuesday, and then came and did trivia with me on Wednesday and stayed the whole night. He
That's pretty
also
good.
said he was so thankful because he got one VIP ticket, and when he met you, he was talking about his wife. You said, "Where's your wife?" And she didn't have the VIP, and you let him go get her for the VIP experience. So,
Oh.
Kevin Smith, you mean the self-absorbed Kevin Smith? Take that, Rafi. Rafi Shaw.
and then we're going to be opening Saturdays for lunch soon. Not this Saturday,
what are you serving? What are you serving?
Burgers, wings, Impossible Burgers for the vegans out there.
Oh.
So that'll be, I think, not this upcoming Saturday, but the following Saturday.
Chicken Monkey 33 in chat said Bing Bong in Inside Out. Definitely. The death of Bing Bong fucking destroyed me. Sorry, not death, but whatever. Spoilers. Fucking can't die if you're not real, but fucking Bing Bong. Oh, that was tough on me, especially because Harley carried around a pink elephant called Yay. Oh, kids, don't smoke a lot of weed. Every memory is a devastating arrow of love right to your fucking heart. The best kind of pain.
There comes a time, thief, when gold loses its luster, when jewels cease to sparkle, and all that remains is a father's love for his daughter.
So true. I remember being a kid and hearing that line and being like, whatever, fucking show me Conan. And now as an old man, like that King Osric.
He knew some shit.
Yeah. All right, man. There it is, kids.
With these two 50-year-old men to bed.
Yeah.
They just start crying a lot.
That's true. If you've seen Clerks 3, you know I'm obsessed with fucking old men crying. So run while you can, kids. This is what your future looks like. If you're a fucking stoner with a lot of free time on his hands. There are people in the world with real pain, real reasons to cry and shit. I watch made up, make pretend shit. Makes me feel. But with all due respect, I understand there's true pain out there.
It is.
Not the pain of like, oh my God, remember when Tony Stark got killed? Look, we have a tacit agreement when you come to watch this show. We're not the news, we're pop culture news. So we talk about fun shit that's not life-threatening and whatnot. So we tend to leave the real world out there.
Joshua in chat says you should start a crying OnlyFans.
Oh my God, if I could make money by crying on the internet,
oh dude,
I could. I can make a list of things that make me cry without just me thinking about them. If you're into fucking old man crying porn, I'm the OnlyFans channel for you. Tear jerking. I'm gonna borrow your fucking term. Tear jerking. Kevin Smith.
Tear jerking off with Kev.
Tear jerking off. Kevin Smith. Cryo says, damn, every time I tune in, Kevin's crying. What are you guys doing to him? Feeling it, man. Appreciative for my life. Ricky says Kevin is cooked. Not really. I wish I could get high. That don't really happen at my age. Just kind of get centered.
Somebody goes, Kevin's OnlyFans would require twice the number of tissues.
People are like, what is that from jerking off? No.
Old Yeller today.
Agent 00 Soul said, call it the crying game.
Nice.
That's fucking dope. That's dope, man. There it is, kids. Fucking life is good.
Indeed.
It's always better above ground. Team Nightmare has been asking me this question all night in chat. So, have you seen Mountain Monsters? It's a show about real life monster hunters. I have not. I need more information. Where is it? I will look it up. You may now stop asking. Kids, did you like the show? If you didn't, what the fuck were you doing watching it?
For 3 hours.
Yeah, really. If you like the show, it's because that guy over there, man. Give it up for marvelous Marc Bernardin.
Thank you, Mr. Smith.
You want to see me in real life? I'm on tour until fucking December 5th or 6th. December 6th, I think, is the Hartford show. Clerks 3, the convenience tour. Clerks 3 coming out streaming on the 15th. So this week or whatever the fuck. But I'm still touring it. We're still selling tickets. Don't even matter that you can buy it on home video and shit. So check your Clerks3.movie to see if I'm coming to your hometown. We're adding San Antonio, Boston's on sale, Hartford, Connecticut. All sorts of fun places. Go to Clerks3.movie for tickets. Marc, you got something to sell?
I do tomorrow. If you're in the Los Angeles area, come down to the Cantina, where me and Malcolm Barrett will make dumb jokes. His will be better than mine. We'll talk about some shit that we watched. Maybe some new news will happen. Who can tell? But come down. Fucking drink with us. Drink with us. Don't be assholes. Come and drink. Don't be a Raffy. Come down. Sorry, Raffy. I don't know you. You might be lovely. Maybe.
Yeah, Raffy took it a little hard, man. But you know what, Raffy? The lesson is don't start none, there won't be none. It's that simple.
Mama say, mama sa, mama sa.
Suffer, me don't get no rougher.
Boom.
In the words of Got You Where I Want You. There it is, kids. Fat Man Beyond is at an end. Thank you, Banff Man, for bringing us to the internets so people can see us. If you love Banff Man, patronize his goddamn fucking cantina. Go to the Scum Villainy Cantina in Hollywood Boulevard, Hollywood, California, where all the stars shine. Go see Marc there tomorrow night.
Pew pew.
Get yourself some blue milk. Get yourself, some of the food that JC was talking about.
Indeed, I'd say get some tater tots, but they pulled them off the menu. JC.
What's that all about, JC? Why'd you lose the tater tots, fucker?
We elevated tater tots. We have 2 different types of tater tots now.
Ooh, Marc, you didn't tell me that. Don't be.
I didn't know that. It's been like 6 months since I've been to the canteen.
We have fully loaded Vader tots now.
Oh, what the?
Mm-hmm.
And
Vader tots is fantastic. You didn't coin that phrase, did you?
Maybe. I don't. I think I did, but maybe I saw it on the internet a million years ago. We also have
as the guy who made Hater Tots. I co-sign fucking Vader Tots.
We also have Parmesan truffle at-tots. Like at-tots. At-tots.
At-tots. Oh, that's fucking cute, man. Look at you. You're having a good time. You got your own movie theater.
You do.
I can't wait till we do crossover events, bro. What is the thing what's it called again? Does anybody want a peanut?
Anybody want a peanut?
Hurry that fuck up. Hurry it the fuck up. Once you do, or just come out here and do it here for the first time.
I think we're gonna do it next. I was aiming for November, so we'll see how it goes, and then we can tour it.
And then bring it out to New Jersey. Yeah. I know a theater. At Tots. Come on. That's fucking fantastic. There it is, kids. Clerks3.movie. If you want to come see me, fucking csmod.com or wherever the fuck. If you want to see Marc tomorrow night. Where is it again? Where can they get tickets?
Eventbrite, or just come down.
Eventbrite or door.
Just roll into the cantina, buy yourself a drink, buy yourself some ATOTS, and we'll have a good time.
There it is, my friends. We hope you've enjoyed this time together. 10 o'clock, 10 after 10 here on the East Coast. 10 after 10 here in New Jersey, cradle of civilization. Times it be by you, 10 after 7.
10 after 7.
10 after 7 in the City of Angels. Gotta go, but first, here's the story of my life. Went. That's the beginning of Ballad. There it is, my friends. Thank you for hanging out. For Fat Man Beyond, I'm horny Kevin Smith.
And I'm woke Marc Bernard.
Tune in next time, kids. Same fat time, same fat channel, SModcast.com or
YouTube.com/Kevin Smith.
Jeff's kiss to all of you, even Rafi Chaw. This is the cat. Greetings, everybody, and welcome to the AKA Ask Kev Anything. Every saga has a 10-year anniversary, ladies and gentlemen, and this is what happens when Jay and Silent Bob get old. I'm Kevin Smith. Cheers,